Welcome to South Harmon.
What's up, everybody? Wednesday night AMA. We're live and in the building. Adam, H-An, Hawkinson, look at us. Mixing it up.
Let's go, man.
Mixing it up.
You know, all this rookie talk. Let's talk about some players that have been around the block a little bit, you know?
as the thumbnail's fucking Jaxson Dart, he stood nothing.
Absolutely. Well, and speaking of which, Mike, let's go ahead and talk about it. What are you hearing, or what is the buzz that you're kind of picking up on Jaxson Dart? Where are you at with the player right now as it stands?
I don't know if there's a lot of real teeth to it yet, but you're starting to get there. You're starting to get the impressions from a lot of people who are in the know-how, who are in the biz, that Jaxson Dart in the first round may be a real thing. Now, again, you and I really are the faces of buying into mid-rack first-round hype, stemming back from our early days.
Yeah,
Matt Corral.
I mean, we have
Kenneth
Pickett. We've been
Kenneth
there, you
Pickett.
know. We wanted all the Kennys. We wanted all the Kennys in that draft. Now, I mean, I guess from the standpoint of, you know, I know you talked about recently kind of his late ascension and not really being a big fan of that. Do you have kind of some worries with Jaxson Dart, the player, the prospect? Obviously, we're going to find out in a little bit what the draft capital is. And the buzz right now, anyway, I'm starting to see a lot more of the mocks that are talking about him in the late part of the first, or sometimes even higher than that. Debro said he looked really good. I think the ascension is starting to happen. I don't know if it's a lock, but I just wanted to talk about this from the standpoint, too, thinking about Bo Nix and Michael Penix. Mike, fast forward a year ago today, right? Those are the two poster childs of late rises. The blossom happened, and man, if you aren't on the train by now, these guys are going off the board in the top 4 rounds in startups right now.
Bo Nix, specifically, at least for me, you know, at this time last year, Bo Nix hater, right? It took Bo Nix actually getting drafted in the first round for me to switch that stance, which, you know, is a given. But, you know, a lot of people are doing startups right now, and they got to make a decision on Jaxson Dart, right? We're going to have pre-NFL rookie drafts here coming up in a month, Adam. Think about that shit. Like in a month, we're going to start doing some of these things. Some people are going to have to make some decisions before they actually get NFL draft capital, which sucks. And I would say at this point, the difference between Bo Nix and Michael Penix is I was a Michael Penix fan, right? Like I watched him throughout the year. You know, you watched him 2 years ago and you went, all right, I see first round NFL talent, right? Like I see an NFL scheme that translates. I see an offense that translates. I got some concerns about Bo Nix. Now we've seen Lane Kiffin coach quarterbacks have some success in the NFL. Like it's not an aberration, but overall, my probably biggest concern with him, and it's the helmet, it's the Matt Corral thing, it's the same kind of man put up video game numbers, and a lot of his stuff is like one read, RPO, heavy based, and we haven't always seen that translate the best to the NFL. Now I'm not saying he can't. And if NFL people really do like his talent, he ends up going first round and as crazy as, you know, top 5, top 6, as some people are calling out right now, I'll adjust and I'll be a big Jaxson Dart believer and have a lot of shares. I would just say right now, if you put the water gun to my head, proverbial water gun to my head, and told me to make a decision, I'm probably leaning on cautious no. Like I'm good. I've been burnt before. It's the bad girlfriend that you never want to go back to. Like, no thanks. I've been down this road.
Yeah,
I've been with this one before.
While that is on one hand true, also that bad girlfriend that you've been down the heartache before, you also know how fun it can be. And when it goes right, Mike, this is quarterbacks. When it's a quarterback, let me just say this. If you don't listen to us at all, you have no idea what we talk about, what we do. If you just think about Mike in its very simplistic route, right? Just think about Mike, not as the person, just his simple nature. Quarterbacks going in the first round to the moon. I don't care what he looks like, what he does, what his talents are. You're going to be very in on Jaxson Dart if he gets the draft capital. The big thing for us is we have so many drafts that are before the NFL draft. So basically there you're saying you're going to practice a lot more cautious optimism.
So here's one of the great things, man. Here's a plug. Patreon.com/South Harmon.
Oh, no.
Film session.
Let's go. Yeah.
Tomorrow night. Film session tomorrow night. Trey Harris, Jaxson Dart. So we're going to fuck around and find out.
A little Ole Miss.
And you get my opinions now, they may change. Like I haven't sat down and watched Jaxson Dart. I didn't do the write-up for Jaxson Dart in our rookie draft guide. another plug coming out very, very soon.
Speaking of which,
right?
yeah.
Yep. Link down in the description down there. Mm-hmm. I haven't sat down and actually watched film, like actually put the tape on and made my own opinion yet. Like it's from afar. It's from highlights. It's from watching college football and maybe catching part of an Ole Miss game, like that kind of thing. That's where my Jaxson Dart base is from. So maybe these people are onto something. So I'm willing to have my mind change. I'm just telling you, if you ask me right now, if we're doing a draft and I'm on the clock with money on the fucking line, the answer is probably no. The answer is probably no.
Yeah. I can kind of get behind that. And I think the reality is right now, because this class doesn't have a lot of the star power, that punch that we saw a lot of the 2024 class have, you're going to start seeing a lot more narratives kind of in the space because there's trying to be a filler, right? I'm not saying that Jaxson Dart can't actually have an ascension and that he won't go in the first round. And the other thing to think about, right? Last year, Bo Nix and Michael Penix, even if you didn't believe with them actually getting that first round draft capital, these guys basically, for the most part, missed the first round in a lot of drafts that you and I weren't included in, Mike. I can tell you right now, because this class, if Jaxson Dart's a first round pick, Mike, mid first.
Correct. I'll adjust and, I'll hammer the shit out of quarterbacks. A lot of this is kind of like when I subscribed to Sophie Rain's OnlyFans, paid her real money.
There we go, man. Some things stay just consistent. It didn't take us long to get to the OnlyFans segment,
But the thought of the tease, right? The tease was interesting. And then you pay the money and you get fucking disappointed. Same kind of principle here.
Yeah.
I paid the money for Matt Corral's OnlyFans and fucking disappointed. So the next time there's Sophie Rain 2.0 comes along and, highest grossing earner on OnlyFans, whatever it was, $43.5 million. You think Mike's going to jump right in?
Absolutely.
No. Mike needs to see the tape first. All right.
That's fair.
I got to see the film, see what I'm purchasing.
It kind of depends on the state, though, right? Your level of fatigue, how much you've had to drink, and how, happy-go-lucky we're feeling.
How full this glass is.
See? So let me ask you then, moving on from Jaxson Dart, any other players in this 2025 class that it seems like their value is really starting to pick up a lot of steam at the moment? And when you think about, we've been following this class, Mike, for quite some time playing in C2C leagues. Now, obviously, we only have the information that's at hand, but some names that you weren't really thinking about a year or two ago in this class that are really picking up steam right now. Any ones for you?
Well, the most obvious one that's going to stand out a year ago, nobody was talking about Kaleb Johnson. Nobody. And as of a week ago, I felt like I was on a fucking island here.
I was going to say
Kaleb Johnson was fucking running back too. Like I thought I was on an island. We even had a film session. Most people didn't agree with me, and I was like, okay, that's fine. We watched Amari in Hampton, and I was like, okay, he's very good too. He deserves to be in that conversation, but Caleb's still 2 for me. I see Debro like a week ago, like, I might be out on Kaleb Johnson. I just don't see it. And then fucking today is like Kaleb post after Kaleb post after just right on there, just fucking Kaleb just stroking it. I was I
was gonna say, I know you've been really amped up and looking for just some traction in general. I was gonna say, even with this day included, like, are people still talking about Kaleb Johnson? It feels like right now, as highly touted as he is for this class, there's basically a lot of cloudiness surrounding the Kaleb Johnson running back. I'll just tell you some of the people I know that look at film and play Dynasty, maybe aren't creating Dynasty content, but play a lot. They're giving me negative feedback from what they're looking at. So I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm just saying it's just interesting to think about a class that's this devoid of talent and a guy like Kaleb Johnson really having this type of overall cloudiness surrounding him, I think.
Well, anybody who's got any doubts, man, go check out Thor's article on Kaleb Johnson.
What's up, Thor?
Chef's kiss. Now, the best part about it is we watched the film session, and DB, if he's in here, anybody who was watching that film session with us or watched the recording of it, can say that I brought up the fact while we're watching. I go, man, I'm getting some like Le'Veon Bell vibes from this man, like some Lev Bell with, and this is in regards to the patience and the not necessarily his exact running style, because Lev was different, right?
Lev had that extra gear of patience almost. It was crazy.
The extra gear of patience, and then Lev also in the receiving game was an absolute monster. Stupid monster. Could run routes. Yeah, just an absolute weapon. Kaleb is not that in the receiving game yet.
No.
Does he have the ability to be it? Maybe.
He doesn't have. I was going to say his hands look fairly natural, honestly. Like
yes.
he doesn't have,
he's got really, really good hands. He's got really, really good hands. He does profile as a 3-down back. He does kind of have the same size as Lev Bell, which is interesting. But what gets me is the patience. Now, it's not quite to the Lev Bell patience thing. Like, it's not quite there yet. But if you want to talk about Lev Bell coming out of Michigan State way back when, like as a prospect, it's a fucking same thing to me. And I think Caleb's got more speed. Kaleb literally runs away from people, and people knock, he doesn't look like he's running fast. That's the fucking beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. He's still running away from people. He does not go down on first contact at all very easily. You would like to see him run with a little bit more power, but the fucking man hits home run after home run after home run in the Big Ten when the entire defense is geared to stop him because the rest of Iowa's offense was dog shit. Kaleb is very, very interesting as a prospect. I think he's RB2. To see Thor out here hyping him up as RB2, and now D-Bro's jumping on the fucking train. I don't know if he officially said RB2, but he said a lot of glowing things about how much he liked him. I would say if you want to talk about a big riser, this is somebody who we're going to watch. Like, this is going to be somebody through the process who comes up. The interesting one I had from Thor's takeaway was his Larry Johnson comp, and one that didn't hit me right away. And a lot of people may not remember Larry Johnson. You may be younger to the fantasy football game.
Come on now, Larry.
LJ was the fucking truth back then.
27 was the fucking truth. Was him, man.
And I think Thor was spot on with that one. That was a fantastic comp. And then the other nugget that I took away from today, game speed, mile per hour tracking data, 22 miles per hour is what they had him at last year at one point.
That's cooking.
22 is fucking booking. So even I thought maybe he's probably like a 4.5 guy, like 4.52, 4.53, somewhere in that range. You're hitting 22 miles per hour. You might be looking at a dude who's coming in at 220.
There's only a handful of people that hit that.
He might be coming in at 220 plus at the combine.
I'm looking at 225 maybe even.
And running low 4.4s.
I mean, what does that look like to you? That's JT the last time we saw some shit like that.
It's Breece Hall shit. It's Breece Hall shit.
Yeah. What was Breece at the combine actually?
Oh, what did he hit? I think he was low 4.4s if he did not break.
I know he did. I'm thinking weight. What did he check in at for the actual
218?
I was going to say I was thinking sub 220 though. Still girthy, if you will.
217.
There you go. See, that's more that's not quite the
217 ran a 4.39.
I'm thinking like Jonathan Taylor, where you got the size, the speed,
220
the
plus.
whole package, buddy. You know, you get that girthy thing.
Could you imagine if he weighs close to 230 and breaks 4.4?
I mean, that's Saquon Barkley. I mean, he won't be. I'm not going to make him say. I'm just saying the last time we saw, I think 230 plus go sub 4.4. That was a prospect we thought something of. That was fucking Saquon, right?
I'm not saying it's gonna happen.
I'm not saying he's Saquon. Don't put that shit on me. All right, don't you dare.
But the JT thing might be close. Could be close. That could be the comp a lot of people land on post combine if it happens. You could.
Yeah, I mean, there's guys that are 6 foot, 220 plus, right? So you have that type of prototypical size. And you have the home run hitting ability. If he checks that boxes, right? If he ends up coming in over 220, he's going to be 5'11", 6 foot. He's a tall back. I don't know if that's part of it. I think, to your point, the way in which his style of running, aesthetically, right? I think people kind of feel it's a little bit high or it doesn't look the most orthodox of what they're looking at with overall running backs. I don't necessarily care about that. I think that's something that just the average person that hasn't really put on the tape or seen much of them probably is drifting to early on.
I think he can run in either scheme too. I think he can run in power. He's better in zone.
I think zone is where his patience really can be kind of put to the.
So if you want to talk teams who are kind of like fit that mold, who run a lot of zone, and really what it was, Thor had a great write-up when Tim Lester came in this year as the offense coordinator for Iowa. He went to more mid-zone schemes, like mid-zone run schemes. Mm-hmm. So that's more in line of like what LaFleur does. That's more in line of what like McDaniel does. Kevin O'Connell kind of has that same kind of mold. So if you think about some of those landing spots, obviously probably not Green Bay, but the Vikings are probably in need of a running back.
They are, well, I mean, they continue to think Cam Akers is somebody, so hopefully they're ready to go somewhere else.
They can milk the last little bit out of Aaron Jones by making him a 40%er, a 50%er, and let Kaleb handle the rest of the workload in that offense. Could be something pretty fucking exciting. Like, it could happen. Ben Johnson may be looking for a running back. I'm not saying it's going to be with pick 9. Okay, let's not get fucking crazy, but early second possibility.
What if it was
Caleb Williams, Kaleb Johnson, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, Ben Johnson offense?
What if it was the guy you're not as fond of relative to the landscape and the current cost? What if it was the one in which we mispronounce?
Who's that?
Gene T.
Oh, no. Oh, maybe. We'll see. We'll see.
No, I would like that fit a lot. I do think, though, it'll be interesting to see what happens with some of the running backs in this overall shifting of, coaches to the point you're talking about here. I think there's a lot of things that are going to be in store for changing. And I think the 25 class right now has got a lot of players and overall values that are going to be happening throughout the course of the year. Mike, I'm going to get to some questions here, right? We got Achane's jersey. Listen, I feel like every single video we get the Achane truther guy, right? What's his name? In the YouTube comments. What? He's never here for lives. Yeah, I'm rocking the jersey. Like, come on, man. Master Achane. There you go. Master Achane. Come on, man. Where you at, buddy? Come in live. Tap in live with us.
We need you.
I heard that boy Dart was a hot target. People been going after Dart. Talking him up. So let's hear questions. Zach, I'm not good. It's been a while. I'm not good. I've been away far too long. Got to complete a trade that I'm interested in. What do you boys think? PPR, we're in a best ball start 11. He gave up the 109 and the 210 in this class for Rashee Rice. Well, I'll just say, Zach, it's been a while, so you got that going for you. And then I know how my colleague, anyway, thinks about the specific player in this trade. So what do you think here, Mike? 2 for 1 going to get injured coming back from Rashee Rice.
The more and more I hear some injury analysts, some pretty good ones in the space, talk about his injury, it's becoming more and more concerning.
Are you talking about the injury doctors? I love this.
Yes, the actual injury doctors. And by the way, let me just be frank here. I like when the injury doctors stick to injuries. Okay, most injury
stay in their lane. All right.
Who also give fantasy advice as far as who to draft.
They're jacks of all trades. They're educated, right?
Yeah, their rankings usually fucking blow. All right, they're fucking terrible.
You can't be good at everything,
It's becoming more and more concerning. I will say this though: a lot of people, when they think of Rashee Rice, and we've seen it here, we've had a cornerstone draft, where we kind of shit on our man DB for his Rashee Rice pick. This isn't paying the keep trade cut value or the overall dynasty sentiment value for Rashee Rice, so I think it's completely fine, even in the best ball. I think you did okay here. If that's what you want to buy him for in this class, I'm very okay with it. I would say the only caveat I have is in best ball with this class, as it stands right, these fucking running backs, these second round picks are becoming pretty fucking tasty. Like, they're becoming. Fizz and I just did a mock draft. We'll debut it on Fizzle Friday on South Harmon Vibes channel. If you guys want to go like?
Hey, make sure you go check that out. By the way, yeah, South Harmon Vibes channel.
Let's just say every pick that I ended up making in the second round, which was 6 of them because we went every other in a 12-team league. I was like, yep. Want to take this. Now, this shit could change. We could have the combine and people fall off. You could have the actual NFL draft, and draft capital sucks for some people, and it becomes lukewarm. But as of right now, it's like, damn, I really like these second rounders. It feels like you say that every year, but this actually feels like the class to actually make that happen, where it's like, man, I don't see a lot of difference between the actual 210 and the 109, to be honest. Like, it's basically the same tier of shit right now. So just give me an extra pick.
Sure.
I think in a best ball, if I had Rice, would I trade him away for this? I'd probably ask for more, but I'm starting to get a little bit worried.
That's the thing, though, right?
You might find me on a empty glass night, and I just hit the accept button.
A little bit of a ice only. I think you just talked about this, right? This is the tear down king, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, you're in the presence of royalty. And here's the thing: when it comes to the tier down king, if the tier down king is telling you that he would ask for more for Rashee Rice, this is a dub, man. This is a dub. I really believe so. And here's the thing: I definitely understand the concerns for Rashee Rice, whether it's the stuff off the field finally coming back to bite him in the ass, current situation with the injury. Mike, the one thing that stayed so damn true, though, now obviously there's been players like Chris Godwin comes to mind where the value installation for the market we saw was needing to catch up, and it eventually did. But this market for Rashee, Mike, I don't think I've seen, honestly, a receiver that there's not a receiver that comes to mind that wasn't valued inside of this super elite territory that has stayed this high throughout all the turmoil that has really gone on for him over the last 365 days, frankly. So the value installation for this player is hella strong. So I think the days of when he's coming back, being able to buy for this, they're probably not going to be existing. Now, to your point, what we know about the class and the upswing of these picks, there's still a lot of meat on the bone there. The one thing I will say about the 25 class in general right now, we're looking and man, there's a ton of talented players, especially like you talked about running backs in this class. Mike, think the 23, I know this is kind of gross and not what you want to think about, not the hopium side of things, but remember how many talented running backs were in 23? I'm not saying that it's a one-for-one, even thing, but the biggest thing from 23 that sticks out to me was every fucking pick that continued to go by, running backs going to the wrong spot. Running backs falling down the board. And just because we really like some of these talents right now here in February doesn't mean that we could be massively disappointed when we go ahead and take a look at what has actually come to fruition in May.
I think with the Rice thing, what happens to him legally and then NFL-wise for suspension is going to play into it. So while like when he's ready to return, could you see a value bump? Yes, but you could also see a pretty big value decrease, right? Like if we get some clarity over the summer or whatever it is, he's suspended for 4 games or 6 games or whatever the fuck it is with his legal situation pending. And then you factor in the possibility of negative news about the injury. Like, oh, he's going to start on the PUP, or he's not ready in training camp yet. He's being taken a cautious approach. And you start to get some more clarity on the actual PCL injury and how serious it is. Now, one of the injury doctors did point out, we didn't think anything of Kyle Pitts' PCL injury, that slowed him down. And then like his whole next season was basically just a fucking shitter in the tank.
Yeah, and then that shit somehow stayed really quiet. And all of a sudden, after this production was complete fucking garbage, there was a lot of, pandemonium and talk about how the PCL held him back and blah blah blah. I don't disagree with you there.
What doesn't help him either too is Xavier Worthy's late mention, and then also doing it. I know it was in a blowout in the Super Bowl too, but people are going to look back and be like, motherfucker had 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, and one of them was a highlight play.
That's the point, actually, Mike, I was going to talk about. While Xavier Worthy's rise over the last, I'd say, month and a half, 2 months of the season for sure, right? That started to become more and more of a thing. Mike, here's the crazy part. He's still valued ahead of Xavier Worthy right now.
And that's something I don't understand.
Well, that is, guess what? Sometimes the things that we don't understand, people fear what they don't understand. Let me tell you, for whatever fucking reason it is, people are very bought in on Rashee Rice. So for me, I think when I have a chance to get a player like this, even in a best ball league, these type of picks, I'm probably going to try and find the window where I can basically play the 4D chess game, right? I think you can probably end up moving a Rashee Rice when he's getting close to hitting the field, or, you may have to deal with a little bit of negative news cycle where he's going to, basically be suspended. But what if he's already going to miss the early part of the year? He gets a chance to get healthy, and he's going to miss that anyway because of the suspension. All of a sudden, kind of a little bit of a bump coming when he's going to get back on the field. I'm looking to move him for a lot more than this down the road, and I don't even have to worry about what his production ends up being.
Yeah, I like I said to start it, I think this is a fair price to pay for him right now. Like if you're paying some of these keep trade cut prices, fuck out of here.
Yeah, because
if you're drafting him as a
keep
top
trade cut,
16,
Mike,
17 wide receiver,
brother. Keep trade cut has this man as basically every bit as valuable as fucking Garrett Wilson right now. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Okay.
Rome who? Devontae Heisman? Nah. do the Heisman on that hoe, you know?
Fizz and I talked about this, about texting etiquette, right?
Okay.
You know, if somebody tells you a statement or whatever and you go to respond to them, the difference between putting okay, O and then K, or O-K-A-Y.
A-Y, yeah.
And just K. All right. So when you say they value him almost as much as they value Garrett Wilson, my response to that text would be, that's a singular K. And Fizz says that's the ultimate disrespect. That's
well, see,
you might as well fuck my mother.
But see, here's the thing, right? See, me, I like that etiquette thing. I like kind of having an understanding a little bit deeper. Like that context, though, when you send me a K, I live for the Ks, buddy. You know, I live for those Ks. Let me know how the fuck I'm going to twist your nipples every time I see you and talk about Rashee Rice and just piss you off. The fact that Zach teared up for Rashee Rice and you have to say is kind of a dub. I love these type of things. Okay. Give me all 4 letters. All right.
That's not a Little John. Okay.
Yeah, right? It is. Yo, Mike, I got a trade proposal
for
you live on air, buddy. Let's talk Trip Crown.
You know this is junk. Straight.
Dude, how about this? Would you give up a 26 first for Brock Purdy? Huh?
Is that his trade request? Is that what it is?
Well, it would be really weird to talk to yourself in front of everyone on a YouTube stream. I mean, you could do it. I'm not going to say it's impossible.
That's fine.
You kind of
in a
I feel
vacuum,
like I do that
no
actually
context.
often. I feel like no one's hearing me, you know?
In a vacuum, no context. Yes.
I think what you mean is, would somebody do that, though? You wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I have. I traded for Brock Purdy like 2 years ago on T-Rock on a tear down.
Hold up. This man is in how many fucking leagues? He traded 2 years ago for Brock Purdy.
Exactly.
In once in 50 leagues over 2 seasons ago. Stop it.
Oh, his trade request is in my inbox.
Oh right. Gosh. Okay. This is lovely type shit. I'm gonna just sit back and watch this shit.
I tell you too, like how much of a break I've taken from like Sleeper.
Buddy, it's been. I actually paused that app. I told notifications to go fuck off for a little bit.
Yeah, like I needed time to fucking unwind after the season. I became that dude who like disappears as soon as the season's over.
Okay, you gave Sleeper the K, the singular K.
Gave Sleeper the K. Where the fuck is it? I don't see it, buddy.
Damn, Mike is off the game. He doesn't even know how to get to the fucking app now. This is amazing. Nope. Well, we got nothing but time here. We got questions piling up. It's all right. This is good.
I got one from M Cup. Is that Trip Crown? I don't think so.
Man, you OnlyFans, cups, 2 girls, 1 cup. What do you got going on, man?
Yeah, I don't think so. Like, this is how much of a shit.
Hey, Trip Crown, did you fucking delete it before Mike could look at it? You out here doing that type of stuff? Oh, shit, Auction 5, Mike. Come on, get with it.
It
is M Cup. It is M Cup. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's me. Get my name right. Let's see what we got. What do we have? No, don't give us the fucking actual trade. We waited for you to find the thing.
Lick my fucking tape. No way. He wants Lamar Jackson off of me.
Okay.
For 226 first. You about too short, motherfucker. I just threw my phone in anger.
Hey, listen, here's the thing, M Cup. Honestly, I respect what you just did. Because right now, Mike will never forget who you are, the association with Trip Crown and M Cup, and he will never forget that trade offer. So here's what I will say. While you probably didn't yield the results you were looking for, you just may have. And you yielded results that get you into Never Everland, which is a fun place with Mike. The trade proposals, or I guess counters, that you are going to be getting in the near future are going to be awesome. They're going to be worse than just a singular K. Giving his first back, though. Oh, he's saying your team's needing to fucking retool, buddy. He's saying your team's on that ass juice. Okay. The context to it. We're building up the beat here. The hype continues to build.
We still ride. All right,
dude. Fine. Mike, the 101, and
how do you know it's a 101, motherfucker?
I know one thing. If you trade for your first and you're getting it back, buddy. The only someone is going to have to fucking wrestle you to get that 101.
I finished.
Call it what it is.
I finished a nice 6th.
Right. See what I'm saying? That's a team that I know Mike gets his first back. That's going to 101. Not even a discussion. Simon Joseph, inbox offer JT for my 106. PPR lineup start 10. So 1 full point tight end premium. 106, Mike, or JT in this class? What are you thinking?
Man.
I think I would like to know the context of your team too. I mean, if this has to be to even consider it a strong contender. I will say if your team's built the right way, though, this is the right point. This is the right teetering spot.
Yeah, you're right in the ballpark. 106 has the potential to be worth more than Jonathan Taylor. And before people jump my fucking guns about this, Matt, we just talked about Kaleb Johnson. What if he goes in the first round to the fucking Vikings? What if that happens? Right? He's going to go in that range.
Dear God.
A rookie Kaleb Johnson in the first round or Jonathan Taylor?
Well,
and we're
okay, now this is where the ultimate conundrum, the convolution of dynasty value and production and age, right? Mike, this Colts team, what it's going to be moving forward and how they finish the season, buddy, I might be willing to, say fuck all that dynasty bullshit them years, man. Let me get this crazy specimen that I know is going to be a workhorse. We've seen Taylor be elite in moments in the playoffs, fucking just break people's knees off in fantasy games. So I think if I'm built the correct way, I'm going to go ahead and just press this right now. Go ahead and press this right now.
What doesn't carry risk is the pick.
There's a little bit of risk that you're disappointed with what the fuck this thing ends up being, right?
The class is dog shit. That happens, right?
Sure.
I say just in general, though.
But you're right. The pick has probably even then more value to gain over the next few months, for sure.
Knock on wood, Jonathan Taylor gets hurt over the summer. Off-season workout. Snaps an Achilles. Tears an ACL.
Don't put that shit in the ether, please, God.
Just saying. I mean, you're doing it in fucking February. There's a lot of time before the season's played.
I'll tell you one thing. That's going to be a league shakeup. All of a sudden, that dead-ass league you've been in, get a little popped off, see if you can get something else cranked too, right? Wake these motherfuckers up. 106 and Taylor in the middle of February, time to get going.
I think it's reasonable, Adam, for a lot of points you made. Jonathan Taylor is good, and he finished the season strong, and he's also just at that point in his career, though, one bad injury away from just tanking in dynasty value and never recovering.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
that's the downside risk.
For sure. It's the running back risk that we all know. We didn't see a lot of this year, but we all know fondly, right?
Even in a piss-poor class, even if people know it's a piss-poor class or think it's a piss-poor class, the 106 is still going to carry some weight come rookie draft time.
Sure. I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo on this 106, by the way, right? The thing about it is this class's strong suit is the running back position. And in particular, while to your point, right, I would love to get a guy that I know goes in the first round or early second in a smash landing spot. Like, damn, okay, that's a player that is going to be penciled in to get a lot of work early and could be very talented. But again, when it comes to this position, the reason I am so quickly to go ahead and take this JT, this position, I don't really give a fuck about the long term, right? I'm viewing it already in 1 or 2 years. So that's where for this specific class and this specific player, you can take the risk and you could take all that upside, but JT's upside just at this time of year, I think, is a lot of times underappreciated or capped. We're mentally capping his upside.
Simon's context on this tells me no. His full context on this one says no.
God damn it, Simon! Why'd you have to get me all excited for what? All right,
not so because Burrow made McCarthy. You got a good quarterback room. Nico's nice. You got a wide receiver.
This team's nice. Definitely a little bit up to desire.
You got a wide receiver in Ayuk coming off a major injury. You have Olave also coming off an injury in a piss poor year. Josh Downs on a Anthony Richardson.
I mean, Ayuk Olave Downs probably sounds a lot better than it truly is at this point.
Yes. It sounds great on paper. It's in reality, it's like flaccid.
Here's the
nothing.
Go ahead. I'm listening. I want to hear your analysis and breakdown on this. I think this is a good discussion.
It feels like you're like, man, I'm coming out of rebuild. I'm ready to make some moves. If this is the only move you end up making, this team is destined to be mid as fuck. Like, it's destined to be mid as fuck. It really is. Now, if you make this as like the Kickstarter to also move in the 101 and move in the 109 and move in the 110 and move in the 112 and really starting to solidify that wide receiver room while adding a couple of running back pieces to it, fuck yeah, you can turn it around and definitely come out of rebuild because you have the quarterback room. It's just don't make this move and then just be like, yeah, we're good. I'm going to take the 101 and then I'm going to take the 109 and the 110. And then don't do that shit because you're destined to be mid as fuck. You're destined to be right back in the same fucking spot with an old running back who's a potential of tanking in dynasty value, and he gave up the 106 for it. That's what sucks. So if you do this, you also have to do other moves after. Just know that.
I would say I agree, and I like that the conversation there of like I think in general, right? People will ask us or someone out there that they're looking for advice from a specific question, right? A trade question, and I mean, we love them. I mean, I love to talk about all the different dynamics, the specifics of your team and all that. But I think you have to remember that one trade in and of itself, like you're looking at, maybe your process is pretty good and you have strong reasons, but you're looking at maybe a slightly better, 55, 45 type of odds that shit breaks your way, right? When you're looking at one specific trade. And I think in general, in order to have a better chance to really take a team like this, you got to be a little bit more intentional, right? What am I doing here? Am I looking at this point to get myself in a position to go contend? And then ultimately, I think with this, the biggest thing also is, Mike, what does the rest of your league look like? Essentially, if you're in this position where you have all these picks, you got two futures out there in 26, and you're looking at some of these teams that are like, damn, I ain't got no future now. I didn't really do shit then. If you have some teams out there that are desperate to rebuild and you could kind of really position these picks at the right point and pick some players off and kind of get yourself in a team where you're now contending quickly. I think this could be the starting piece of a domino effect that makes your team, really built well. I think you just look about it from this too, Mike. I'm moving one of them QBs if I can as well, because I like all of them. But I don't need to have that type of a dynasty value player as my quarterback 3, right? I'm looking to probably, if I'm going to go ahead and contend, just retool, right? Give me a cheaper version of a QB3 and try to get off of some of the dynasty value. Because right now, Burrow and May or Burrow and McCarthy, I feel good about that at QB. I think you could definitely make this trade and make this the start of a pushing a rebuilder into a contender. I'm for it, but I think your point's correct. If you end up making this trade and the league dynamics don't allow you to really go and you kind of end up sputtering out here, you kind of got an incomplete situation.
Yeah, which would suck. That'd be major suckage.
You just got to make sure, I think, obviously you can't know what tomorrow holds, but you got to be intentional about going out and now pushing this thing to the right pieces.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it. All right, we got Coop. I don't know what the hell. A camel toe. All I saw is a camel toe and Koopa, and I just had to click this. I don't know if it's Koopa did a nice podcast on injured player production and value. In short, Rice production and pre-injury value highly unlikely to return next year, if ever. I will admit that's in general a very true thing, especially when you consider Rashee Rice is a top 15, 16 wide receiver. He's probably 25, going to be going to the 26 range. At that point, you don't really ascend a lot in Dynasty. Typically, you only can stay roughly where you're at if you produce very well. So, good point there. But 109 and 210, I can tell you where those picks could end up being. They could end up being really great too. Joe Milton. What the hell? Silence is what you should be doing. All right, quiet you, Joe Milton.
Joe Milton, huh?
I love it.
Talk about Joe Milton.
Why not? Why not Joe Milton, the cannon?
They got a cannon.
The cannon.
Kind of like.
Yeah.
Here's a problem.
Okay.
On Drake May, like your only path to success is if he gets traded this offseason.
What in the hell, Silence? You decided to speak up on some damn Joe Milton here, huh? Is this going on in the chat? Am I missing something?
Hey, appreciation for him against Buffalo's backups. He balled the fuck out.
No, he has what do you want to call it? There's a lure there, but it's cheap and unlikely to pan out. But definitely, I get it. Fun to watch. Fun to watch that guy throw the football.
Fun to fucking watch. And if he could put it together, I think he could be a pretty good quarterback, pretty exciting quarterback in the NFL.
I will say Red has a very keen eye for what looks good, and he thinks that his arm looks good. He thinks he might work out. I think there's a chance at that.
I don't know. What would make sense? All right, let's put ourselves in the Patriots organization.
Right. The more that you're drinking, this statement and thinking curiously makes me cautious. What makes sense? Let's hear it. What do you got?
Let's put ourselves in the Patriots organizational chair.
We can't do much worse than the past, so let's try it.
Ooh, they did okay with Drake May.
I mean, so far what we have seen and what we're hearing is this is what you need. This is what you need to build around, right?
They found that dude at quarterback. They drafted Joe Milton. They gave him an opportunity to play at the end of the year. He balled out against some backups in a meaningless game. Did his thing. He played really well, so I don't want to take that away from him, right? But I also harken back to anybody else remember Matt Flynn? Like anybody else remember?
Absolutely.
Him in a garbage game at the end of the year.
Matt Flynn and that girl from the picture. Russell Wilson got rid of both of them, man. You know, that girl on draft night, baby. Let's go.
Oh, with the big old face.
That shit is so crazy and kind of so sad and hilarious all at once. That's hysterical.
Bye, Felicia.
Sorry, we in the lead now. We got to turn up.
I like Joe Milton. He's intriguing. But all right, so if we're the Patriots, we got our franchise guy in Drake May for sure. Lock that up. I don't think there's a fucking question about it. What does the trade package this offseason, particularly in this draft, because we're trying to build around Drake May,
sure.
What is enough that we say, yes, we will trade you Joe Milton for this pick, for this package or whatever the fuck's coming back? Like, we're willing to give up on Joe Milton, this allure, this piece that we have, this exciting backup quarterback that we have to our superstar Drake May. Like, what is that return on investment that you made on Joe Milton that you hit where you go, fuck it, we're done. You take him.
But here's the thing, Mike. This is kind of that conversation of like, I feel like you got to find a specific and unique, let's call it, GM out there where I feel like a lot of teams and GMs that have experience have kind of gone down this late round, extravaganza, and I don't think you're likely to net all that much in a trade for him. What would you say though? I'm curious.
If I'm the Patriots?
No, I'm saying what do you think offers are going to be looking like coming in? I think you might get worse offers than what you just thought M-Cup sent you. I mean, something for your expectation. Thirds, really?
A third.
Dude, I don't even know if I got a third for Milton, sayonara, my friend. Are you serious?
You're sending him away for just a third?
Yeah, bro.
I don't think I'm doing it if I'm the Patriots.
What?
Nope.
Bro, that's wow, interesting.
Let's just look.
I'm very curious. Like, teams sending more than a third, right, for a quarterback that's of his pedigree is, I think that is a tall tale that's not going to happen.
Yep. I just let me pull this up because I just want to
go ahead. Yeah,
I just want to.
All right, I'm making sure that I'm not crazy. I haven't slept in a while. DB's like gone. Yeah. Okay, cool. Go ahead. Keep going.
We believe that all these third rounders that these teams get are going to be fucking smash hits because we remember the good organizations like the Eagles, like the Rams, like the 49ers, like teams who have had massive success because of the draft, who have hit on their third rounders, their fourth rounders, their fifth rounders. Like, that's what we think. In reality, this is the third round of the 2024 NFL draft. These are the fucking
25
players. And you tell me how many of these motherfuckers actually mattered. Malachi Corley was the first pick.
Third round from last year. Got it.
Yep. Trey Benson.
Yeah, but isn't that sunk cost fallacy, though, at the same time?
Trey Benson.
But
Brandon Coleman.
Going through and saying what players didn't hit from last year's class, though, is sunk cost fallacy, right? We're talking about a 2025 third.
Isaiah Adams, Cooper Beebe, Braylon Trice, Jonah Ellis, Delmar Glaze, Caden Bullock, Matt Conclaves, Jermaine Burton,
Christian Hayes, so we cherry picking out here. Come on, Mike. Run back on D. Stop cherry picking, damn it. Run back on fucking D.
Roman
My
Wilson,
God.
Zach Zinter.
I'm with DB. What is going on here?
Maris Lufau, Marshawn Lynch.
Mike, let's talk about first-round picks. You know what? I can give you a list of worst players that were drafted in the fucking first round if you want to go there. Of course. There's busts.
Jones,
you want to know what? You want to hear some really good third-round picks? How about Devon Achane?
Luke McCaffrey.
Devon Achane. You know what the upside is? Also, these players that you're talking about there, like, they may end up being better than we think for their one season.
They may be, but you tell me how many of them names you're actually excited about.
I would take some of the. I would take some of them names ahead of. I would take some of them names ahead of Joe Milton right now for sure.
just saying.
I love where the. I'm with DB. I was what is going on here? I love this. This is fun shit.
If I'm the fucking Patriots, give me a second rounder and get the fuck out of my inbox.
Now, but when you're talking about a player that had a year and did not do shit with the opportunity they were given, and we find out whether the way they were used or whatever, they didn't hit. Like, this is a third-round pick. The NFL values draft capital at a ridiculous rate relative to other sports, right? Like, if you spend a liquid third, and Joe Milton does not at least show promise to quickly become what you think you can build, you are going to have fucking the hyenas, every person that has not even a microphone just going crazy about that type of a trade, right?
You would. I don't know if it'd be that crazy if you only gave up a third rounder. Nobody's really going to give a shit.
Only a third? Buddy, like, I hear you, but also just think about this first. Only a third.
Only a third.
Man, give me a little bit of a sanity check. A third round pick is a damn good pick.
You're trading a third round pick for a quarterback. That's it.
But it's okay. This is a quarterback. How many players have we seen at the quarterback position that have insane arm talent that are exactly what you named, just a quarterback? Or some of them we get told, "Are you ready to, play another position?"
Jimmy Garoppolo for a second was a fucking steal, and people said they let him go for too little. The Bill just wanted him out the fucking door.
Okay, but that's a very different conversation as far as what he's kind of put on wax as opposed to Joe Milton. Come on. Obviously, there's different talent.
At that point, Garoppolo had only played fucking 2 games, Adam. He only played 2 games.
Right, but there was a lot more build up as far as Jimmy Garoppolo being a player that people thought highly enough of that there was a big market for him. As a matter of fact, the Browns were begging to get Jimmy G. They were told, actually, we just won't trade him to you. Like, there was a much different suitor conversation.
First,
right?
Got told to fuck off.
But that's my point. Is there was a totally different conversation as far as suitors out there.
For 2 games.
I'm loving this. Joe Milton, Jimmy G. Stop. I'm. You know what? Please, Dr. B. I'm gonna pick you up. Please don't stop. This is fun. Can't stop. Won't stop.
Can't stop. Holy shit, Stroh with the over the top.
Stroh. Well, this is like Mike and Kaleb Johnson getting stroked with the Stroh, huh? All right, lineup. 12 teams.
I'm on an
damn it, Stroh. I'll be honest with you. I will say to you, Stroh. God damn it, Stroh. $20, you deserve it. But man, we had an insane run ahead of us. Oh my gosh! And with that much vodka still left in there, that shit was going to be awesome.
Stroh was like, "We're fucking tired. I'm tired of hearing about fucking Joe Milton."
Listen, we're unlikely in the near future to top that D-Bro night, but I'll tell you one thing. that video would have had a fucking chance, buddy. I'm telling you, it would have had a shot.
Stroh's the GOAT.
No. Damn it, Stroh. You know what? You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. I want to hear Mike's story.
I love it, Stroh. Flex on him.
You shut
stunting on them hoes.
God damn it. We got to go back to lineup start 11, Mike. All right, is this more fun? Sure. Superflex, tons of PPR premiums. That is an interesting way to think about stuff. Hurts, T-Law, Levis, JT, Swift, Bigsby, Sharps. Looks like some third-round picks that kind of missed here, too. Jetta, we got Chase, Olave. I mean, you got Jefferson and Chase, Olave, Mooney, Hollywood, Cooper, Downs, Ertz, and Henry at tight end. Sent 108, my 26 first, and Derrick Henry for T-Law, Olave, and Mooney. Thoughts on this? I'll say why?
Yeah. Why?
Personally, like, I get it with T-Law and Olave as far as these are talents that we have seen at the bottom dollar for what we've ever thought of for their dynasty value, but what's the goal here? What's the idea of just buying low on these players? Because the difference in the thinking for me is what's changed with the Olave situation. I mean, I'll tell you the truth, not fucking shit. I like the talent, right? With T-Law again, where is the next set of hopium? T-Law is getting to the point of concerning as hell for me, honestly.
Would you rather bet on Derrick Henry for 1 year next year or Chris Olave?
Well, and that was going to be to the point. I didn't even talk about what you sent away. I mean, Derrick Henry. Now, I'll say the dynasty market is it's actually close. It's a 6th round versus like a 4th, 5th round. So it's close. I probably straight up would take Derrick Henry on the right team.
108 and the 26th first or T-Law?
God, give me the picks, man. Well, let me say this. I can't say it that cleanly just because we live in Superflex land, right? So if my quarterback room isn't a certain way, right? If I don't have a lot of depth there, I may have to feel like I need to hold. But I'm probably for a 108 and a 26 first, as long as my quarterback room doesn't go to shambles, moving T-Law, frankly.
I don't mind buying
this isn't horrible. This isn't horrible.
That part I don't mind. The Derrick Henry, I'm taking Derrick Henry over Olave. Sorry. Not sorry. Like, I know it's dynasty or whatever, but like Olave's had his chance.
The problem is we could be looking in, Mike, you know this, we could be looking in October and we're like, fuck, it finally happened. And even if Olave's not doing shit, his value is going to be way higher.
True. And that is a realistic outcome. So I would say at the end of the day, this isn't a terrible trade. I just don't know necessarily if at February I'm sending, especially the 108 and then giving up a 26 first on my team already. Like, I'm already mortgaging my future for the likes of T-Law and Olave with just question marks and people kind of, we don't really know. I get the whole like buy low because it's not a terrible deal, right? It's not a terrible deal. It just feels like I don't really have to do this.
The thing about buying low, though, the idea of buying low, that means that like you're buying low because it's going to have some type of a value ascension. You're buying low because it's going to go back up. And here's my thing with this, right?
The general principle, though, like trading an older running back, and Derrick Henry is an older running back.
You also do have a running back room that can afford to do this, I think.
In February, for a quarterback and a wide receiver in Superflex, a young quarterback and a young wide receiver in Superflex, it's a pretty good process. That's actually a pretty good process.
Here's the problem.
The bad process
what is the difference between T-Law and production realistically next year and Geno Smith and Matthew Stafford and fucking Sam Darnold, wherever he might land? Like, realistically, it could be extremely similar, and all you have is Trevor Lawrence's name. It could be
elite.
I mean, I won't say elite because we've never seen him actually be elite. I don't think I'm going to all of a sudden see T-Law in this new situation be elite. He's been quarterback, I think, 12 roughly in warp in his high end.
We've never seen Baker Mayfield be elite.
Sure. But the difference there is what happened, though. All of a sudden, the weapons were completely changed around him. You're looking at a guy that had no home, and all of a sudden it's Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and Jalen McMillan starts to rise towards the later part. He did start to elevate K-Dot and stuff. Line. Sure.
But now T-Law gets Liam Cohen. He's already got Brian Thomas Jr. Evan Ingram's a stud.
Evan Ingram. He's talented.
We did that mock draft Mondays, by the way, patreon.com/South Harmon, where we draft everything. We did 3 rounds this time, and I don't remember who the fuck I gave the Jaguars, but it was
just real quick. What I wanted to say is, Stro, you really had to hate this Milton conversation because you kind of just said, listen, I'll pay $20 and fucking put this trade for y'all to roast me if it comes to it. I don't give a shit, and I'm going to put 20 on it. Not only am I going to send good money after bad, I'm going to spend $20 so y'all can talk shit about this. I think the problem when I look at this, right, is you're saying 108 in my 26 first, and realistically, like, what's that look like as far as dynasty value? It's nothing crazy. I think for me, the way this trade works out is if you're able to actually move T-Law and Olave sometime. The way I would be thinking about it, if I can move these guys in the next 2 to 3 months somewhere where they're in that, top, closer to that top 12 or 15, or for Olave, 20 at the position, I think this is a move that could be very prudent. But I'm very, very hands off on these players personally.
The Mooney thing is interesting.
Mooney is kind of an interesting part. It's just such a smaller piece down the line.
I treat him more as just a toss-in, right? Like his splits with Kirk Cousins versus Michael Penix, if you go look those up, aren't going to be as flattering. Like
Ray McLeod.
Right? Like they're not as flattering. Michael Penix was like, even though Kyle Pitts can't catch, I'm going to throw to him. And Drake London, I'm going to feed the shit out of him. And Mooney kind of became a little bit more of an afterthought with Penix. But I would treat him more as a toss-in because that's also a guy like the Falcons could draft a wide receiver in round 2, like to really just, this is going to be our number 2. This is going to be our guy. This is going to be the dude that we focus on. So I don't want to like bank on him. I like him as like an intriguing guy with what he did last year. But just to say, I saw his follow-up, he scored 100 points less than Derrick Henry with all the bonuses. I'm not going to fucking bank on that for 2025, right? His situation could drastically change. Could he repeat? Fuck yeah, he could. Could he also just fall off into the abyss of unknown and be Cedric Tillman? Yes. Yes.
Cedric Tillman that doesn't even have the market of Cedric Tillman right now, honestly.
Doesn't even have
but
the
I mean,
market yet.
Listen, I'm not going to knock that part of the deal. It's a fine toss. And I think actually when I really think about this, right, I think my biggest problem, well, I shouldn't say biggest, like there's only one thing, but what I don't like about this Pacific trade, Mike, when I kind of carve into more of the specifics of it, right? The 108 getting off of that in this class, fine, especially if you have, JT, you feel good about that as your hero RB, you got Swift, you got some other bodies. Cool. I think my problem more than anything is like I think this team is really good. Okay, don't get it twisted. I think with Hurts and T-Law, JT, Jettas and Chase, it's a good team. But Mike, here's the thing: what if one of Jefferson or Chase gets hurt, and what if you have a down year from hurt? Like this team, I don't really want to send in my 26 first. Like I don't want to leverage the potential of that away for what I don't really view as a big difference in my team right now. Like I don't really look at this team all of a sudden and be like, damn, solved. Like my squad is fucking totally different. I'm good here. I think that's the problem with this trade for me is I don't want to send away my future 26 first. And when I look at my team overall, it just kind of looks a little prettier, but I don't really think it's solved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I did.
That's ultimately the
pick already.
I didn't know how, Mike, it's one of those things. I don't know how I feel. I just don't know. I'm K. I need to figure out what my feelings were. And that was really the thing about this one.
It's one of those, I'm okay trading my 26 first if I already have like a monster super team. You know what I mean? Like if it's your shit team, your OG auction team.
Fuck it. You can have my 27 here. If you go ahead and get the young kids, great. But I'm going for it.
I need literally 13 things to go horribly fucking wrong where I don't even make the playoffs.
And then I need the one team out there to have everything go right for them. Shout out motherfucking that team.
Most scenarios, though, if I'm sitting here in February, I'm not trading my 26 first. This is why when people come to me in startups and they're like, oh, it was such a good deal. It was so easy for me to just move my 26 first and this, 8th rounder to move up to the 3rd round to draft this guy. And I'm like, no, no. I do that 0 out of
but no thanks.
Never.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Now, what I like to do there is I'll send you back the exact opposite deal, right? With the closest picks we have, let's flip this bitch around. Oh, let's go. Okay.
I think you did that to me one time. C2C stuff.
That's exact, Mike. That's exactly. See, you know when I'm like, you know what? You slash on the bitch. I kind of like the angle. I kind of like the angle that you're working here. You know what? Since you think so well of this deal, you think it's so fair on both sides. What if we flip this bitch? That was a fun one.
Yeah.
I think neither one of us won was the best part of that deal, which is hard to do. We both lost.
Yeah. Neither one of us have won that fucking league. Like, imagine that. Either side. C2C. We've had 4 chances at it combined. We're 0 for 4, Adam.
Damn it. I love. Well, let's not go down to another crazy tangent hole here. Okay, so let me see. Stroh says, I think for now Stroh's done defending the deal. Listen, Stroh, I'm not telling you the deal was awful. I think you can still end up moving those players at a later time and win. But I don't love it. Sorry. Not sorry.
Not sorry. But thank you.
Silence has broken the silence. I love to see this. A lot of the Patriot fans prefer Milton over. Here, okay. I gotta have. there's still someone out here that thinks a lot higher of Joe Milton than Mike. And that, for me, is I can't get my head wrapped around that fucking part.
Do you got that clip? You know, the Russ clip?
Matter of fact, Mike, I not only do I have it.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
Here, I want you to see this again, just really quickly, God. Okay?
Why is it the question on the screen?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
Is that good? Dying. Is that good or what?
I'm dying too because the fucking question on the screen of the graphics. How many times a week does Mike say? Awesome. Like I'm some sort of fucking.
I mean, listen, D-Bro. First off, what am I missing on Joe Milton here? Mike says NFL GMs taking a risk of a third-round pick is, not even hot to bother conversation. What is happening? I get it. I'm
saying if I'm the Patriots GM, you're not getting fucking Joe Milton for just a third, motherfucker, because it's probably going to be a shitty pick anyway.
I'm telling you that I think 98%, if not all of GMs right now, they came across, someone called them right now and said, we will give you a third, but they are breaking every piece of technology in sight to make that deal happen right now.
Put that silence fucking question statement up on the screen.
All
and
of
then
the
we
above,
break this down for you. Right, I'm gonna break it down for you the easiest fucking way possible.
Dude, why? What happened? Is this actually Joe Milton? Like,
put it back up there. Oh I want to see it. We'll break
how many Patriot fans do you know? We need to have a conversation.
A lot of the Patriots fans prefer Milton over May. That's the first part, and then there's 2 dots. So I'll break this down for you. That means a lot of the Patriots fans are fucking morons. Like they are so convoluted in their success with Tom Brady and fucking 6th-round Tom Brady that these people have polluted their brains into the fact that they're all fucking morons at this point. No offense, Boston.
Everything cool that she just said, you ruined it. I mean, this is okay. This is why maybe silence is the best choice, because I think in general, right, a lot, like overall, when you talk about Patriot fans, a lot means there is a very high number. There is no world in which a majority or a lot of people, period, think this, let alone Patriot fans.
So
I'm not saying there aren't people out there, but a lot totally changes the dynamic of this statement to make it not the case. I'm sorry.
He also said, I hear it all the time on the East Coast.
Locked Patriot podcast. Okay, what do we know about this?
Locked on Patriots podcast. I would also say this. I would delete that fucking podcast forever and never listen to it again.
Now, hold on. I might want to lock in on this content. This might be where that whole 3rd-round thing kind of makes sense,
I'm sure they're nice people.
They might, dude. Watch.
If
they
it was
probably have a 3rd-round grade on the kid. I bet you.
If it was even uttered, right? Like really soft, a whisper. I think Joe Milton's better than Trevor.
I will say, though, D-Bro is confirming that there are people out there losing their minds.
They deserve to burn in hell forever. Good Lord.
Mike, okay, let me give you a little basketball reference, right? So just because you see somebody out there make a really unbelievable play, right? An athletic play, just go crazy. You know how many times you've seen someone make an unbelievable play or even have an unbelievable game, but they really aren't that fucking good, right? And actually, it's the opposite. The chemistry might be bad. There's so many other things than just, holy crap, he can throw the ball a mile.
There's 2 people that come to mind. Do you remember the 7 Woods? Like highlight.
I will say South Harmon in the market though.
The 7 Woods, like 7th Woods.
Oh yeah,
7th Woods. End up going to North Carolina and never really doing fuck all.
Sure.
And then there's that other kid who's like 5'2". I think he's like 28 now. Like he's doing all the crazy dribbles. I can't remember his fucking name. Yeah, he's a little small guy. I used to see him all the time on fucking TikTok, just tearing people's asses up. Never became shit. I don't even think he
don't go back and rewind what Mike just
That's
said.
what this is.
Guy 5'2", just on TikTok, tearing people's ass. That is a crazy pause. Holy fucking Santa Claus shit. That is craziness. What just happened
when we
there.
start the show with a Sophie Rain reference, that it's bound to be.
Well, yeah, that was in the earlier part of the show when things were all kind of calm.
I got the glasses on Redwoods, so let's do some Googling for you.
Oh, you know what? Dude, it's actually kind of like when you play around in Photoshop, the different type of like gradients and shit. You can actually get a very clean but weird view of your entire screen.
Yeah. Other than the fucking teasing, never showing anything.
DB, is it just me today? I thought I was crazy when the Milton thing happened. I'm sitting here like I can't even let him finish whatever is gonna else come out. Holy shit, that was amazing. That was awesome. That fucking statement all slewed together like it was nothing was awesome. So let me see here. We have found, it's confirmed. We have found Joe Milton's burner accounts. Be careful about that, right? Kevin Durant, you can probably talk to him. He'll help you get that straightened out so it doesn't happen anymore. Yeah, he fucked
that up big time.
I mean, listen, it happens to the best of us, right? I'd rather have Levis than Milton. Fairy dust. I like this. This show has been magical. Speaking of fairy dust, it really has.
If you're an NFL GM of the Titans, would you take a third for Will Levis right now?
Mike, I'll be honest. I think, given the fact that they would be fucking praising everyone to get a third, absolutely. You have the 101. You're going to get a QB, and you're going to move on from. Okay, Mike, what'd they get for Fields?
Oh, like a 6, didn't they?
Think about that. It's the exact situation. 101. Okay. You want a fucking third for Joe Milton. Thank you for the point in the conversation here. Okay, fine. It's the Bears. But point is,
R.I.P. McCaskey.
Justin Fields, Mike, had a lot of moments, albeit, right, the whole package, total body of work.
Shittily run organization for fucking decades.
Mike, but here's the thing. For a 6th-round pick trade to go through there, it wasn't like they made the trade first offer that came. There was a lot of teams that didn't call. They didn't call. But what? Milton for a third. Come on. It's okay. Honestly, you can keep it going. I don't even mind. I need to have some sort of a barrier. I need to understand the context of what I'm dealing with in the real world sometimes. I don't even know that I'm right. I just feel like, dude, what do you think right now a team actually out there would take a flyer on? Like, what was the Sam Howell trade? There's a good one where I don't even think he's done the Sam Howell thing, but like, what did Sam Howell go for?
7th.
But that's what I'm trying to say, my guy. Like, Joe Milton's body of work, to D-Bro's point, is like a preseason game. Like, yeah, we already knew he could fucking throw the ball a mile away. They got a fourth. Okay, so I think Sam Howell was coming off, albeit a crazy high, interception rate. He's chucking the ball over the yard.
No, okay, so it was a pick swap.
There you go.
Seattle got.
I was gonna say 4th seemed high.
Sam Howell, a 4th and a 6th in exchange for a 3rd and a 5th.
So go ahead and do the math on that, and it gets you down to, probably a 5th or a 6th overall breakout, right? So
like
we're looking at
bucket of Church's chicken.
Let me just say what we're talking about with Joe Milton. We're not talking about day fucking 2, my guys. We're talking about day 3 at top end here.
Joe Milton was in this class. He'd be QB what?
4, and that ain't saying shit.
4.
Nah, I'm not putting him at 4. I don't really care outside of fucking
I don't
3.
think you're wrong at 4.
I think Milroe probably would still be, by some people's account, higher. But yeah, like something in that conversation because the quarterbacks are just dog shit.
Everything we hated about Joe Milton, Jalen Milroe's worse at somehow.
What is he really not worse at though?
Does he have the same arm? No.
Run, Forrest. He can run that bitch.
You want to talk about accuracy problems? Jesus fuck.
Do you think Jalen Milroe is going to get a lot of those questions that Lamar and Jalen Hurts got? The same questions, right?
Milton's got them mic hands, them big fucking behemoths.
Them paws.
By the way,
bear, yeah.
Anybody who says like your hand size determines how big.
All right, I knew when you go by the way after that. Just let them have it. Go ahead.
I'm being honest here. Okay, this is me being real. Okay, anybody who says that your hand size or your feet size also determines how big your man size is, they fucking lying, okay? Because I got some mitts.
Well, hold on. Just like on the East Coast, a lot of people think this way.
Mitts. I got the fucking East Coast. A lot of Patriots fans. Locked On Patriots podcast thinks this way. I got some fucking mitts, and Adam knows, like, I wear a pretty good size shoe. What do you wear? You're like a 15, ain't you?
When you go... Well, I know. I was getting really worried. Yes, I'm thinking you were going somewhere else. I wear a 15. Used to hoop in the 16s, but Mike, you can't find them fucking behemoths anywhere now.
No, I'm a 13 for shoe size. All right,
Those are some. They're a step away from being clodhoppers. You know.
Like I tell my wife, that's 8 inches. You know what I mean?
Well, okay, but here's the thing, right?
She can't she doesn't own a tape.
I would say there's also just what we call the exceptions to the rule. There's variance, right? Most people with the big mitts and the 13s. I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying they're probably a little higher on the scale, the Richter scale, if you will.
Crispy, they really make those? Like, do they really work? We get a sponsorship.
I mean, sure.
Penis enlargement pills?
I would say, they don't have any side effects or any type of negative things that come with them.
How do you know?
And they also definitely work. Can you imagine taking something that fucking might not actually work at all and you just fucking everything else in your body up? That would be amazing.
I love the fact that there could be side effects to it. And like I visualize like one of the side effects is just hair loss. And then like I take my hat off and they're like, oh, look at this guy.
You think I care about my hair going? It's gone, buddy.
Look at this guy. You must have been taking them dick enlargement pills.
Oh, I like that. The Richard scale. That's a good one. Damn it, Dr. B. That's punny. The dick. Big dick.
Oh.
Come on.
Dude,
it's a layup.
He's a doctor.
Yeah, that's true. He's a he's a serious guy. He's really got this thing going on.
I'm just an office assistant, you know? Shout out that fucking sack of shit at my work who called me just an office assistant yesterday.
Dear God. It's like LeBron. More than just a basketball player. Mike's like, I'm more than just a maintenance guy. You fucking bite your tongue. You should see me on the mic. I put on shades, the chain.
My official title is parts manager. All right,
Dear
but I'm
God.
also
don't be one. You're not one of these. You're not a title guy, are you? Please.
I'm not a title guy. I'm not a title guy.
All right,
okay,
fine.
My responsibility is to keep the maintenance parts stocked. Right? Somebody needs something, I procure it. I also keep track of inventory.
Oh boy,
put it away.
we are dressing it up. Procure it. Look at this guy.
I'm in charge of purchasing.
For those that don't know, purchasing. There you go. Okay, good.
Some supervisor yesterday got his fucking panties in a wad, a little upset, whatever it was, came up to my fucking office right away in the morning and just started undressing me, right? In front of other people.
Well, to be fair,
I know you're new here. This is your first time with the title. I know you're just a glorified office assistant.
Oh, he went there.
Adam, I know, Adam, you know me. I got a real long fuse. Like, it takes a lot to get me upset.
So after like the third one of these, you're like, all right, you motherfucker.
Oh, that fucker was on speed burn. I was like, and by the way, not a big guy. And I'm also thinking we're on the second floor and I'm about to toss you off this motherfucking mezzanine.
Well, I was going to say though,
you're about to go for a trip, buddy.
I want you to channel and think about this, right? Now imagine how that conversation went, right? And the emotional build up and what you kind of went through, the verbal assault, I'll call it. Now imagine you're in a flipped life where what you're procuring is fucking players and draft picks, and you send away a third round pick. The berating you would get, Mike, I mean, that would be the happiest day that you could think of. Your existence, if that trade doesn't go perfectly, oh, buddy. Now, granted, if it works out, he's a genius. You know what? Fuck it. Let's give it to him. Catalina wine mixer. It's a win-win for me, you know? If he pulls it off, I mean, I'm going to look like a genius to the board.
How you going to do that to me, man? I just simply said, if I'm the Patriots, I'm sitting in the GM chair, I tell him, fuck off.
Listen, it's the middle of February. We got nothing going on. Let me play up the Joe Milton fucking experience here, for God's sakes.
Is the fucking thumbnail
the thing is, you will, it might be. Silence, if you will come back and give us more updates on what's going on the East Coast, some of the nooks and crannies, some of these,
It's not Silence. It's Joe Milton himself.
The white collar, the blue collar. Give us a little bit of the whole Richard scale, if you will, on the East Coast. I think that would be fun. But
I'd like to. D-Bro came in after the fact that I just like jerked him off on air to like.
What's crazy is I really feel like it was organic, but the timing in which he came in, he got the entire wave of like, what the hell? We're talking Joe Milton at an extended period of time here. What is happening on this fucking channel?
He went full real life Russell Westbrook. What,
bro? What are you talking about, man?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. We got to give one more little quickly.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
Oh no, Adam, did you ever save that? I mean, we were going to do it a couple weeks ago, but we had Debro on. We were talking about Kaleb Johnson earlier. Did you save that Trevor Sikkema?
Yeah, I mean, this is the. I have it now. I gotta go find it in the archives.
You're good.
The entire reason that exists, for the record, okay. We found a very useful time to play it, but that is was really supposed to be the start of. Once this draft guide is finished and out, kind of get this dressed up. We're gonna have a segment in the show called the "What the Fuck" tweet of the week by Michael Crystal, and that is going to be part of the intro for it. Just a quick hitter, but Mike, I will try to find it here and I'll pull it up on the screen. But yeah, go ahead and
let me just
your
preface
worst
this
here. You know.
So we were talking a little bit about Kaleb Johnson.
Matter of fact, how about does this look like it? Huh?
It does look like that. You blow that motherfucker up.
Holy shit! You now listen. I don't know what the shoe size or the hand size of this is, but we're gonna fucking grow this pig. You know. I
will name and shame on this one. Okay? PFF does a lot of good stuff. And DB can attest to it. Their data, I love their data. They have some fucking problems though, and they have some big fucking problems. Specifically, I have one. I have one with Trevor Sikkema. I might be saying his last name wrong. I don't really give a fuck. You put out this kind of analysis.
You butcher Kaleb Johnson. Listen, I will butcher your name and not think twice. I will
butcher your last name because I don't give a fuck about you. This was his analysis. Okay, strengths: strong north to south runner between the tackles. Okay,
I would agree.
True. Real nice burst and top speed for his weight.
Yeah.
Talked about it. Like it. Has the balance to shrug off arm tackles for yak. Hey, good vision.
So far, so good, right? He does have good vision. I like it.
Especially behind ZBS, which is zone blocking scheme, in case you guys couldn't figure that one out. Constantly cutting to find open space. Perfect.
I agree with the strengths, and I would maybe add a little more context, but I like it.
Weaknesses. This is where I drew the issue. Not much experience at all as a receiver. I believe he was the third leading pass catcher on the Iowa offense.
Ayo. This is an old comment. I'm putting this up.
Patriots fans are fucking drunk. Now I can't even see the bottom one.
Sorry, let me go ahead and minimize this shit. Sorry.
Upfield urgency can lead to not letting blocks set up. This was the biggest one I had a problem with. And this is the one that told me that Trevor Sikkema is a fucking hack and didn't even watch Kaleb Johnson fucking film. Besides highlights.
What do you do here?
Anybody who's actually watched Kaleb Johnson film, you tell me if he has upfield urgency. And I will go to fucking the mat with you to tell you that he has so much goddamn patience as a runner in not getting upfield that it's almost fucking infuriating at times. It's 3rd and 1.
Well,
he is slowly trying to set up his blocks. And I am screaming, Kaleb, just put your fucking head down and run through somebody's face. Please. He is the polar opposite of that fucking comment. He is patient to an extent that almost pisses you off. That is how patient he is. So when Trevor Sikkema of PFF writes this dog shit and puts it out there.
About to sick of you.
Oh my God. Did it fucking send me over the moon? What a fucking hack. A hack and a half. Like, you cannot.
And just for those that were wondering,
did
this
ChatGPT write this shit for you?
Well, Mike, that's what I was going to go to. Let me first of all.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
Now, Mike, I will say, okay, I don't want to listen. At this point, the damage is already done. Sikkema, I can't undo what's been done. I'm just going to lean into this a little bit, okay? Don't shoot the messenger, but I'm not going to say this is exactly what happened, but let me give you, I think, how this could take place. You go back, think about some things that you did, when you're doing schoolwork right back in the day. Try to get an assignment done. You don't really give a shit, right? You kind of just want to get this thing accomplished. What do you probably do? You're doing your form and your version of plagiarizing. Now, the problem in which that type of work can come out is you're kind of taking a paraphrase which you don't necessarily have the full understanding of, and you're kind of making the same thing or just copying it. And Mike, this is one of those where
whoops.
Something here just doesn't quite seem right, and it's not math, but this just isn't. I don't know. I'm also thinking, Mike, I've gone through and watched some of Kaleb Johnson actually already. I watched some of the games, not a lot. I didn't watch the Iowa level of Mike, but I've seen a good amount. There's not that many games from this last year. I can't even think of a run in which I'm like, damn, he fucking went crazy. He totally was a little bit too eager to get to a spot, and that you come on, man, chill the fuck. I actually can't even think of a play where in which that happened. I'm not going to say it didn't happen. Anyone's capable of that, but I can't think of one off the top of my head where it's like, damn, he just was way over his skis and tried to, aggressively get to a spot that wasn't there.
When you write something like that, upfield urgency can lead to not letting blocks set up. I think of how Trey Benson.
By the way, there is a really is not even. It's got one L. This is. You put so little thought into this that you can't even just fucking check the spelling in the second bullet point you have. First word in the second bullet point. Listen, I'm not a punctuation snob, but come on, man. If I pretend like you want to do this a little bit, for God's sakes.
Act like you get paid to do this, motherfucker.
I mean, you're putting ZBS out there, right? We're using acronyms that most people don't know that even are kind of tied to the space. Get your shit. You know what? Let me stop.
Yeah, that shit didn't even register me. The fact that
this has gone down the fucking
I read it
hole.
and I went ZBS, okay, zone blocking scheme. But there's some casual peoples out there that like, what the fuck is ZBS behind ZBs? We got a new position.
Yeah, you know what? You're next, mister.
You're next. I don't fucking get it, man. I don't get it. Listen, when I saw the fucking tweet and it was like Kaleb Johnson's my RB5 or whatever the fuck it was. I don't even remember how it fucking popped up. I was like, okay.
Here's the thing, though. RB5. I also won't actually. I won't actually.
Okay, let's go. Let me see why.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't just putting an RB5. I wouldn't fight that really all that much, just because the class has a lot of good running backs, right?
Exactly. I wanted to see what somebody else's opinion was on Kaleb Johnson and why he was at 5 and not 2 or 3, or what they were different on consensus.
Sure.
So I go to it with an open mind, and you hit me with all good strengths. I'm like, yep, you fucking got that right. Not much experience as a receiver, and I'm going, okay, I'll kind of give you half credit.
That already, but see, that's the thing. That didn't really meet the smell test. And then the very next statement's like, okay, this isn't even fish. What the fuck is this? What are you trying to feed me here? It's like the tuna sandwich at Subway.
Oh
Mike, they found 0% tuna.
No tuna.
Literally, there's no traces of tuna in that fucking. So this is what this is.
You can't even call it tuna. When do you do it?
You've been selling this. You've been telling this to fucking selling this to people as tuna for a long time.
Who was it? Was it Bill Burr? I think it was Bill Burr.
Probably.
Or might have been Rogan. They're doing a stand-up one time, and they were talking about vegans and how they call everything like vegan ice cream and vegan chicken.
That's a dangerous road, yeah.
Listen, I respect what you're doing, but make a different sound with your mouth. Find a different word. You can't call that vegan chicken because there is no fucking chicken in it. Okay?
Ayo, silence is a fucking gem. I don't know who this is. This is amazing. Just keep it going. It is
Joe. It's Joe Milton himself. We got to get him on the show.
Ayo.
Joe, I would not trade you for just a third round pick. Just so you know.
Listen, I'm not as familiar. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with your game here, DFRNT Hughes. But this. When you save it, when you're someone that's quiet, you come with a comment like this, tuna analysis. That is a fucking bar, and
it's goated.
Listen, don't make yourself such a stranger here. I'm gonna take that junk off the screen. I'm starting to get a little nauseous. Here's the thing, though, right? Last thing I'll say. I feel like at this point we've piled on to the point of let's see if there's anything left to find here. If you're trying to also hide the fact that you have some, punctuation issues and that maybe all of this may not check out. Don't you put more than 2 weaknesses? Like, kind of maybe hide some of it, right? Like, see if you could package around a bunch of shit around it and see if maybe just you only have a total, Mike, you have a total of 7 fucking bullet points, 2 of which, like, don't really make any sense.
Both false.
Your percentage here is really not very good. Yeah.
So on the scale of truths, we have 5 truths, all pluses.
Okay, now
no weaknesses. Apparently, if you were to read this,
let me speak.
Johnson's fucking bulletproof.
Well, and let me speak a little dynasty to this, right? Let's give it a little, parallel. Mike, what do we like here? If best ball or lineup, we talk quantity or quality. Like, pick your lane. This is not quantity, so you better fucking have quality. You can't give me both. This is just get it off. Get it off.
I think
what? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What's this guy's deal?
I know. Clown question, bro.
Frankly, I think you have a much better chance talking about Joe Milton and having, a better piece of analysis, even if it's off the Richard scale.
You know what I need? I need Joe Milton to do a Kaleb Johnson write-up. I bet Joe Milton would get it right.
I will tell you this: if Joe Milton had half the personality of Jameis Winston, fucking look out. Everything that we're talking about right here to the moon. I mean, just change the entire dynamic of the league. Promises.
Jameis is something, man.
This dude has become a star, and people are only begging for more. He will not be successful as far as a winner in the NFL, and buddy, he is the biggest winner of all of them, man. Killing it.
Somebody posted in the Discord when he was doing those Super Bowl interviews, Jameis does everything well. Like, he does that. And I said,
I got some weaknesses here. It may not be a long one, but I got a weakness here.
Number 1, he can't steal for shit. He's a terrible thief. He's the worst.
Well, dude, I will say that. Have you seen the crab promotion he did? That was fucking unreal. That's so good. You haven't seen that? Oh, dude.
No.
Yes, he got a crab promote, bro. That was. Then there's a free crab. Like, they did the promotion of, like, if you do this, you'll get free crab to go. Oh, buddy, I'm telling you, for him to lean into that with the grin and oh man, just amazing. But he also, I think one of the best things there is I need the Lord. Like, he's definitely gotten very religious. Need the Lord to deliver me from all these interceptions. That's not me. When literally all the stats say is that yes, not only do you throw picks, but you also throw a lot of pick sixes too, my guy. Like, come on.
I wish I could find that fucking meme where it's like, Lord, I need you to deliver me from interceptions. And then in the background is just this chick bent over in like a thong, their ass hanging out. It just says interceptions.
Mike will take, listen, if it's got a chance to stay in that PG-13, Mike will take it to the make sure we get right back to South Harmon ways in a hurry. I love that.
Well, I was going to say, like, if he's going to do the crab commercial, can he do something, like Maypacks,
Oh, buddy, there's nothing he can't do. Dude, think about...
He jumps right up on the table and he's like, fuck her right in the pussy. You remember that controversy?
Of course. Dude, the young Jameis, like... That's one of those things when you look back, like, young Jameis was just a different level of dangerous because of the way in which he lived. But I will say, man, when you've got a guy like him, the personality, so, the Kelsey brothers, right? Their personality is a big reason why they blew up, right? You got a guy like Kelsey who, as soon as Jameis comes in, he's just literally staring and just in awe, laughing at everything he does. Like, a guy like him is just enamored by him just moving. He's amazing. He's a complete... Like, he just is what he is. He's not imitation crab. That's for damn sure.
No, he's going to have a hell of a podcast one day.
Oh, dude, he's going to change what that looks like. He's going to be the new big thing. By the way, now, see, it's fun about this, but we are out of questions. Now we just have amazing comments. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Huh? Crispy. Man, I've been kind of doing a lot of work with graphics, and this was one, Mike, and you may not know how to say it. You may not know a lot about them. Tough to find some graphics, but I will say, buddy, come on, don't even. We got some fire ones though. Out of Rutgers, Mike, for how good he was in college, really, really great as far as overall Big Ten, but very, I would say underappreciated, underknown for what he did and the stats he's put up for Rutgers. I really like him actually as a sleeper in this class. I don't even know if you can call him a sleeper, but
yeah, Maddie and I talked about that on the 4D podcast. By the way, go check out that. Fantastic. We talked about it. We talked a little bit about like who's your sleepers of this class, and I think we came to the consensus. If somebody's telling you there's an RB sleeper, they're wrong.
Well,
there's no sleepers in this running back class.
Define
there's like
sleeper.
There's fucking 25 plus dudes.
The other problem is
like, yep.
The other problem is it's extremely loaded at the running back position as far as depth goes, but also this class doesn't have a lot of high end talent. So what you could start like penciling in as a sleeper is a little bit earlier. So like, I don't know. He's not I think he is a sleeper for a lot of people though that, we're just trying to get familiar with the 25 class, right? I
updated my rookie ranks the other day.
Okay.
I mean, last night.
What are we talking right now? Big Michael, Iowa Michael. Is it 19. A third round grade? Is it a Milton?
19.
Okay, so he's a second round guy. Mid-second.
Yep.
That's 19. About where I think I'd have him. What running back does that make him for you? Like 8?
No, he's RB 19.
Oh, he's RB 19? Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's a big time sleeper for you. That's going to be a fourth round pick, right?
Listen, I try to do it by tiers. It's tier 5.
I have him higher than 19, but
it may sound disrespectful, but I think it's just, man, when I was sitting there doing those running back ranks, it's like, I like this guy a little bit more. I like this guy a little bit more. I like this guy. God damn it. There's so many fucking running backs. And you know me, when I do my
19,
rankings.
Him being RB19, I think people don't understand the context of that, which is why you should go check out our draft guide. But there is a laundry list of people in this class.
But when I do rankings, I'm very
tier agnostic, focused, right?
I'm not gonna say like I'm not just tier focused, but also like there's a stark difference. If you go see Eric's rankings, right, from America's Game Podcast, make sure you check that out on Thursdays. Eric will rank fucking, in this quarterback class. I don't know what he has in his rookie ranks, but he's probably got like 30 dudes ranked at the quarterback position.
Pause.
Like Eric will go fucking deep. Like Eric, he'll give you all 8 inches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he will too, for sure.
I get tired after just the tip. Okay, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not ranking this fucking. I don't fucking care. I don't care about this.
I'm not gonna go through and just do this to knock you off the block.
This is the first year I can remember I did running back ranks, and just rookie ranks in general. And usually, Adam, I probably have like 8 to 10 quarterbacks I give a shit about. I'll probably have 8 to 10 tight ends that I give a shit about. I'll probably have like 36 rookie wide receivers that are of some interest to me, and I'm willing to rank them. And then running backs usually cuts off in the 20s. I'm sitting here and I'm looking at my rookie ranks. The most rookies I was willing to rank before I got tired of it at the running back position was fucking 26. 26. I'm like, yep, I'll fucking rank this guy, and I'll rank this guy, and I'll rank this guy. I look at wide receivers. I wanted to give up after fucking 12. And that's not a joke. After I got to 12, I was like,
well, I hear you. I also just keep in mind, though, the information which we have changed in the next few months to where you'll find a way to get that number up a little bit. You'll pump those rookie numbers up. And those are rookie numbers in this
We'll
draft.
pump the rookie numbers up. But a lot of that
with
shit
you,
I was
the wide receiver class is not deep.
I got so fucking flaccid after a while ranking wide receivers. I was like, I don't fucking care. But with the running back position, I was like, I know this guy, and I got an opinion on this guy, and I got an opinion on this guy. Let me rank him. It was so weird. I don't remember a fucking class where I've done rookie rankings, which is the last 3-4 years maybe, that I've ever really given a shit that much about running backs. So to say Kyle is fucking RB19 for me actually probably doesn't mean shit, because when I look at it, I go,
What's the difference for you in RB10 and RB19, though, honestly?
So at 10, little preview, right? I'm still going to update these and fine-tune them. I just had to get my initial one out there, so I felt good. I had a baseline that I could work off of, and I can adjust as more information comes in as I get farther along in the process. 10 is Devin Neal, who I'm really, really fucking high on.
Okay, speaking of which, that's like the 40-year-old virgin. When you call, it's been longer than 4 hours. How many did you take? None?
Yeah.
He's fucking excited.
I would say my tier of 12 that I have, that goes down to tier 3. From that to Kyle it's a pretty sizable gap. Now, the difference between Kyle and Tier 4, dudes.
What is that, like 13, RB12? Give me a number there.
Yeah, there's 12 guys in my top 3 tiers.
How about that right there, buddy, huh?
Yeah, look at that fucking graphic pulled up for him. I will say that, though. The Tier 4 guys that I have versus Kyle, Mike said
about the 4 inches, 4 guys, you know? This ain't burgers and fries. This is 4 guys, you know?
It's not a lot. It's not a lot. And I could see him jumping over, especially as I get more and more into the film.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Prospects. Yeah, he could jump massively.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that he will be a riser in the Iowa Michael rankings because I think so. I think so. At least for me, what I see, he's one of the guys that I'm not gonna act like he's overly talented, let's say, but I think he checks enough of the boxes, and he's not there's not something in his game where I'm like, damn, that's just not going to cut it. I think he's a good enough athlete. A lot of his overall. A lot of his skills that he's developed about the game at the position are going to have a chance to flourish. I think he'll rise from that number to you. Now, to Devin Neal, I think for me he's closer to Devin Neal than he is the RB19 you have. But at the same point, I'm with you. I'm not going to put them in the same tier. I think Devin Neal's got a different style of game that is a lot more well-rounded.
I'm a giant fucking Devin Neal fan, but anybody who's in my tier 3, like there's not a fucking running back I look at in that tier 3 of my rookie ranks that I go, oh, I don't really like them. No, I'm a big fan of every fucking one of them. Every fucking one of them, which is from 5 to 12, right? That's the tier 3.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dudes in there. Pause.
Well, you know what's going to be crazy? I'm going to tell you what's crazy about the running back position, right? Because there's so many running backs in this class that it's kind of this weird conundrum. And then 23 was kind of similar, at least from the way the NFL kind of viewed it, where everybody knows that there's a lot of talent at the running back position. And then relative to the other parts of the class, there's a big disparity like you already talked about. But because there's so much talent, teams might be a little more patient, actually. A little more, Kaleb Johnson, if you will, right? They're going to be a little bit more patient because they feel like they can get those running backs later, which ultimately leads to some of these guys falling down the boards. But what's going to be crazy is, despite all this talent, there's going to be some names when we get to the couple weeks leading up to the draft that you really hadn't heard much of, that all of a sudden, man, holy shit, like this guy is going to get drafted, and he might be a early day 3 guy, or he's might be a guy that if he's given the right opportunity, man, he could end up being someone that means something in fantasy, where right now we're not even talking about a player like that. That's in a class that's this deep.
That was one of my big concerns about like Genty, right? He's so generational, everything like that. Now the rest of the running back class is really good. What if NFL teams prescribe to your theory, Adam?
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to use a top 10 pick on Genty? Right? Like, I'm going to get somebody in the 2nd or 3rd round that I like almost as much. It's not the same thing, but it's. Yeah. While it's not a Ferrari, it's a fucking Corvette, brand new Corvette. It's pretty fucking close to me. Looks the same.
Yeah, but the thing is I hear you, but it's also like very similar in 23. While people thought there was a lot of good players there, Bijan 8, Gibbs 12. I think he's probably not as talented as either of those guys, but given the fact that there's not those 2 elite players, I think he does differentiate himself from the rest of the bunch. Now, I don't know if it's quite as wide of a margin as the overall thought process and consensus is, but I do think from a talent perspective and what he offers, I do have him in a tier by himself. But I'm kind of with you as far as this. I'm with you in a way. Like, I don't know that he's necessarily leaps and bounds talent-wise ahead of some of the other players in this class, because I think it's talented. But he's special. I do think he's special. He's just not Bijan. He's not Gibbs. He's not to that like generational level, I don't think.
The only difference between 23 and this class, I will say. Okay, so 23 had 2 studs at the top.
On the high end, it's better. There's just no period.
Yeah. Like Bijan and Gibbs are better prospects.
The other problem, Tank Bigsby was supposed to be in that same conversation. Clearly was not, right?
We got to about this point in that year, it was kind of becoming apparent that Zach Evans and Bigsby, and Charbonnet, like that, the next group of guys, just they were good, and we kind of liked them. Kendre Miller, like we kind of liked them, but it wasn't that great. Like I'm not saying that they're any worse or better than like my tier 3 guys that I have right now. Like I think they're pretty similar. The thing that always is the differentiator between me and that class is there was like 3 or 4 of those guys in 23 that we thought, the Zach Evans of the world that we thought were going to be there.
Sure.
I mean, I'm out here ranking 26 fucking running backs like at ease. Like, and I want to throw it off. And I can guarantee you in 23, I probably stopped after 12 because after 12, I just didn't give a fucking shit. The depth of this class is so fucking
deeper.
Ridiculous.
It is deeper here, but we go a lot deeper in 25. But I will say, though, I think you're kind of
all 8 inches.
Here's what happens, though.
Right
We have this completed problem for us when we go back and look at things in the revisionist history, right? We can't think about how the fact of like Kendre Miller was viewed different. Tajay Spears was in that conversation. There's a bunch of players, whether they hit or not, that we thought really highly of. Some of the guys didn't. Like Zach Evans fucking damn near fell out of the draft. Yet Roshan Johnson people thought really highly of. He just didn't pan out like we thought. I mean, I bet you there was at least, we were ranking at least in the 20s. Now I think it's deeper, and I think there's when you start to go down the ranks, right? Like once we got to, let's call it 12 in that class, I think we're looking at a different level of talent in a class here, 2025. I do think it's different, it goes, but I think also we just know a lot more of the future outcome, so we look at things differently. Don't forget Chase Brown's in this class later, right? We got fucking A-Chain. Like, we got some really nice hits even still, given all that. But we thought kind of highly of Eric Gray. Obviously, well, you shouldn't have, but people thought highly of Eric Gray. Trying to think who else was drafted later in this class here.
I mean, there was some, right? There was some, and you're not wrong. Like, maybe if you want to say like 15.
Oh, Tucker ended up going undrafted, right? All the shit was going on with him. There was a good amount.
You want to say like 15. I'm just looking at NFL Draft Buzz, which they didn't update since then, right? So it's not hindsight, right?
Sure. Okay, there you go. I like that. I like that.
Right? Like a Banakanda at 16, You're not wrong. You're not wrong there. Here's where the differentiator is for me. Like, even if you give me a Banakanda.
Lay it on me, baby.
Travis Dye at 19, nobody gave a fuck about.
Sure. I think that list probably is missing some names that we cared about, though. But I'm with you.
Mo Ibrahim. Tavion Thomas. Tyon Evans. Hunter
Do they have Dwayne McBride on that list? Do they have like some of those type of sleepers?
Dwayne McBride was a lot higher.
Okay. Do we have I'm trying to think of some of the other guys that were in that 23 class. What about like Kenny McIntosh? Was he on that list? I'm trying to think of some of the guys that were later on.
Nope. No Kenny Mac.
Zach Evans obviously had to be probably really high on a list like that. Trying to think. What was the guy? What's the guy that I keep seeing fucking sleeper? Chris Rodriguez. What about Chris Rodriguez?
Bijan Gibbs, Achan, Blake Corum, who didn't end up being in that class.
There you go.
Tajay Spears, Dwayne McBride, Sean Tucker, Tank Bigsby, Zach Evans, Roshan, Kendre Miller, Keaton Mitchell, Kenny McIntosh,
little ECU,
Eric Gray, Deuce Vaughn at 15.
There you go.
Banakanda at 16, Chase Brown at 17, Chris Rodriguez at 18. Then it's Travis Dye, Mo Ibrahim, Tavion Thomas, Tyon Evans, a fullback, and Hunter Lipke. Right? Like the fall off after that becomes Cameron Peoples, Xavier Valladay, Jordan Mims, Kalen LeBourne, Deneric Prince, Jarek Broussard, Sir Roderick Thomas, Jatarius Whitlow. I don't remember that one.
Yeah,
Jatarius.
If you didn't remember it then, you don't remember it now. But here's the thing, right? Okay, that is, I think, a good way that you kind of went through that, because right now, if you're telling me that what we think about this class is that maybe as we get to the middle part of this class in the running back landscape, at that point, there's better talent, and then it also goes deeper. But if you're telling me like the depth of, we're looking at maybe 18 to 17 names that we really like versus, I mean, everybody's different as far as what they view some of these running backs in this class, 23, 25. Like, I'm with you, but here's the other thing. What we don't have as well is, like, is the NFL going to say that they care about 25? Right? That's also the thing about this class is,
we don't know. Yeah.
How many are going to end up getting Sean Tucker? There was some name, Sean Tucker and Zach Evans. were probably on everybody that did a list towards the top 10. And he didn't even get drafted, Sean Tucker. And then Zach Evans was, I mean, eventually the Rams took him because it's like we feel bad for the guy.
In the pre-NFL draft process, I could be transparent with it at the time, like probably about this time in 2023, Adam. Like I had Sean Tucker as a top 5 RB in the class.
I love fucking Sean Tucker. I wasn't as high as you, but I loved him, yeah.
But then we had the combine concerns about, I think he had like a heart issue or something like that. He had some major health. It wasn't like knees or anything. I think it was something cardiovascular, if I remember correctly.
You're like right. I don't remember the specifics, but it was off the field concern of injury, of like health. Yeah.
Yeah, and then people started to fade him or started to talk about the fade talk, and I was like, "What? Come on, what are we doing, man? Do you see what he did at Syracuse?" Like I was still very in on him, and then the NFL draft came and went, and you're like, well, apparently that was fucking true.
You savages! You really let this guy 7th round. You guys could draft Brock Purdy. You can't draft Sean Tucker. Damn it!
Can't draft fucking Sean Tucker. What are we doing here?
I will say though, man, that was tough to watch because of how good I really thought he was. But you know, he wore 34 in college. Wasn't the second. They put him in that big ass number 44 after. That's you doing him completely wrong after the undrafted thing, man.
Hey, no. I won't let that one slide, man.
Why did he choose that number?
No. 44 means a lot to a Syracuse running back.
Okay, I don't know everything. I don't know that.
Means everything to a Syracuse running back. That's the fucking rite of passage, right? Like, this is the old head coming out. This is this is Graybush coming out, man. That's Ernie Davis shit. And for those of you who don't know about fucking Ernie Davis, like go back. You had Jim Brown at Syracuse, and then you had Ernie Davis, and Ernie Davis was gonna be that fucking dude. He was that dude. Won the fucking Heisman, you know. And this is back in the day where.
You're right. He did pick it
to be honest, in America, they did not like fucking black football players. No, they didn't like black people at all. But they weren't giving that award to black. And Ernie Davis broke through that barrier, got drafted by fucking Cleveland in the 1st round to also join Jim Brown, the GOAT, the legend at the running back position. But Ernie Davis had a terrible fucking heart condition.
Yeah, for sure.
Ended up passing away tragically. So
that also I'm looking to see what Sean Tucker, if it was a heart thing. That would be another crazy tie too.
44.
No, I hadn't even thought about that Syracuse tie. That makes a lot of sense. He picked that number too. Yeah,
that is a fucking rite of passage.
And obviously you couldn't wear that at Syracuse because of the retiredness. It makes sense.
You can't be a fucking bum at Syracuse and get 44. So you got to transcend that shit. So when he gets out of that, you know, to be able to wear 44.
And he did it was a heart issue. So that's a hell of a tie for him as well. He had a rare congenial heart defect in 2023.
So fucking crazy,
and that was honestly, what's crazy is thinking about it. I don't think that concern makes him go from a day 3 pick to undrafted, but it definitely was something where, in the draft process, it's funny how this happens. I don't want to say that specific thing is funny, but some of the buzz and cycles that hit the teams around the specific draft, those things kind of catch like wildfire, and then teams are just like, we're going to stay away almost. Like a lot of teams kind of just pass on a guy like this because of an issue with the heart. So, and obviously he was a quick pickup for the Bucs. When he's been given the chance, he's been pretty good. But we have... First of all, I don't see Derrick Henry personally with Kaleb at all. Personally, that's just. I
saw some people saying that like it'd be Derrick Henry if he was like 20-30 pounds lighter. Yeah, maybe. But the movie The Express, what Dr. B says, Disney movie.
Yeah, I've seen it.
If you got Disney Plus, go get it. We'll go watch that. The Ernie Davis story, fucking fantastic movie.
Really good one. Yep.
Ernie Davis.
Watch it, learn something. You know, I honestly, Mike, I hadn't even. The crazy part is I hadn't even thought about that at all. Interesting. Just looking at that.
Ernie Davis, number 44. Number 44.
Definitely the numbers where they wore it back in the day. But, okay, so we got Marcus in the building. I'm surprised Marcus keeps coming back because, man, I remember, Mike, do you remember when we had to tell him, you know, Terry McLaurin in the game that meant the most? And we fucking were like, just give it to Terry, man. Terry just he's not gonna fuck you over.
Sorry,
and Mark. in the worst time, it was a toss up too. Like those two, I forget who the other person was. But regardless, that person and most other players were not gonna screw you. Damn it, Marcus. I felt genuinely bad about that one. I was like,
sorry,
God
Mark.
damn it, he fucking did nothing. Probably lost the game.
I'm sorry.
But he's got okay. I wasn't the 212 coming off of a back-to-back chip in one league. Well, we know it wasn't the McLaurin league. Okay, that's good. At least winning some of the other leagues. I would be foolish to trade Godwin in a second for Olave and Shakir. I think so. Here's the thing. I don't really get the whole buying into Olave, but I guess for certain prices, Shakir is interesting here though because I think it ultimately depends on what you believe in Shakir and what he's going to like. Is he going to stay a very real presence for the Bills? Right. It was Drake London. Jiminy Christmas. We had the fucking layup. I mean, Drake London just play the safe guy.
Michael Penix.
Mike was listen. Mike talks about every single piece of that 4-incher he's been talking about all night was all over Terry. And damn it, why do you have to go showing off like that?
The one time Terry failed me all year. Just had to be when Marcus needed
and
it.
And the worst part too, I know Mike had. I didn't have any skin in the game. Mike was basically like, "Listen, I'm coming with the girls I brought to the dance. I got J-Day and I got Terry in all these leagues." I'm like, "Well, J-Day did his little thing, but
not Terry.
Not Terry. He was scary."
I think it's fair. I mean, Godwin does have a pretty.
Listen, I love you, Marcus. There's nothing you can do about it.
Godwin's got a pretty serious injury. He is fucking fantastic, and he ate so much. But like a dislocated ankle is a big deal. It's a
Did
big
you see?
deal.
So check this out. Now, I'm with you. There's reasons to be concerned. He's 28, but did you see the first thing that was coming out of his mouth? He was getting on the stretcher. The level of work ethic. He basically immediately was saying, "Back to work." Like on the stretcher. Like he's already envisioning. It's like a Kobe mentality, envisioning going through the rehab process. Because remember, he was a guy that, Mike, you and I fought like Rashee Rice kind of right now. We fought motherfucking Chris Godwin's value all offseason, that 2022 year.
So.
And it was Smith. Go back and check the OG.
Check the
tape.
The
OG 9th Dynasty trade show we did on the channel. Got to go scroll a ways. Devontae Smith versus Chris Godwin. Mike, remember we had I put the little UFC girl that had the 9 trade show 9 in there. It was not a popular opinion, right? The old skinny Slim Reaper.
It was the right one.
It worked out, and but here's the thing though. Chris Godwin, Mike, is when I look at that trade, the reason it's kind of tough. There's two things about it. Olave to me is kind of just this still propped up a little bit too much value wise. I don't really want to have him as far as production goes. But like, okay, Godwin with him, what he did last year, last year, and you consider, you know, obviously he wasn't playing in the slot, but kind of what his career was trending, dude. Like I remember vividly, his warp was still wide receiver 1, in literally like 3 weeks after he had not played.
Yes.
Like Chris Godwin was absolutely, like he wasn't just eating, Mike. Chris Godwin was at the early part of the season. What he was doing was going to break fantasy. Like,
yes,
Mike, I have a hard time, dislocated ankle in a trade where I don't really feel like I'm getting some player that has that type of upside if all things hit. That's my problem. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't do it, but that's a little bit scary for me.
I'd say the second for Shakir part is probably the easiest one.
Yeah, because I'm late to the party, right? I'm a late bloomer.
I'm late to the party on the Shakir
I'm in
too,
Shakir.
I fuck with him, man. Like, let's go, man. Let's go, Shakir. The Godwin for Olave thing is tough. Like, I'll factor in the injury, but I'm kind of with you. I'm sitting there and I'm going like, Olave just doesn't do it for me, bro. Like, it just, I'm good.
Here's the thing about Olave, right?
I'd rather roll the fucking dice on, could be warp wide receiver number 1, Chris Godwin, than 9.6 fantasy point per game, Chris Olave.
Man, I'll tell you, I need to sleep. I'm out here. I can't figure out where the comment was that I had up, but where was it? Godwin. Here. So here's when I'm looking at it, right? I think the one thing though about it from the standpoint of this, Marcus, how do you play the game, and what do you do in the offseason, right? If you're in a lot of leagues or overall in your leagues where, like, you're probably going to look back when the season starts, you make 2, 3, 4 trades, 5 trades, not a lot of big ones. Like, I think you probably just hold Godwin in a situation like that. I'm a little more on the standpoint that I talked about there. But if you're somebody that, the way I like to play, if I'm paying a lot of attention in the league, I can't say that I do that as well in all the leagues that I'm in. But if this is a league I pay a lot of attention to, I'm always looking to kind of get my team and my assets on my team closer to the next trade, right? So in the offseason, as much as Olave kind of has some, his name isn't the same as it once was. But again, we just saw somebody pay $20 to talk about the trade they had with fucking Chris Olave in it. Like, Chris Olave is still going to have, realistically, a better market than Godwin is this offseason. So I think that would be the angle where, like, I'm basically looking at my assets and having Olave get me closer to a lot of other trade discussions where Godwin's someone I'm probably going to be looking to hold, truthfully, all offseason.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment of it. Like, if you can process it in a multi-stage thing, and you're like, listen, if I trade away Chris Godwin now with some of the injury concerns and the age or whatever, and it gets me into a Chris Olave, as long as I'm not beholden to Chris Olave and I'm willing to move him, you could take that Chris Olave plus, maybe another pick, a first-round pick, and you might get yourself into a discussion of a real fucking wide receiver that could be a difference maker, where you're getting that Chris Godwin age reset without the injury concern, but the production's going to be, it may not be wide receiver 1 in WARP, but you're like, this is going to be a fucking top 8 guy. Like, boom, lock it in.
Yes, sir.
That's the move to make if you think you can get it done. But if you're making this deal because you're like, I just want to get to Chris Olave because I think it's a buy low and it's a bounce back, I think I'm good on just fucking holding Chris Olave. But I do love the second for Shakir part. So I don't know if you can just get rid of the Godwin Olave thing and just go like, hey, bro, I'll give you a second for Shakir. Can we just get this done? Here, have the 211 or whatever.
Well, here's the thing about it, right? I would imagine I'm not going to go down that part. But here, good point. That's where my head was. That's where my head went. I also have a few Godwin shares already, and this would be my only Olave. Okay. I also like when it fits. Like, I don't like to go do it almost. I don't like to just singularly focus on my Dynasty shares, right, and kind of diversifying. But if I have a chance where it's reasonable in a scenario where the trade's close, I definitely like, diversifying if it makes sense, right? But, man, I think, though, that overall point for me is one of the things I like to do when talking about content in general is, like, I can tell you what I want to do, but at the end of the day, like, what are you going to do, right? If you are really looking to probably park a lot of your assets in the offseason, at this time next year, even if he's coming off this ankle injury, are you feeling that much better about Olave's production? Probably not, man. So that's, I think, the big thing.
He hasn't done it yet. I mean, he hasn't fucking done it yet.
Dude, and the worst part was last year. The worst part was last year. One was the scariest, like, up and down as far as production, right? Not very good in production. And the other thing that was hit in the chat here, I think, like, the injuries start to feel scary here too. So you don't have solution or anything at the quarterback. Nothing in the situation he's going into next year you can point to like, damn, okay, like, here we go. This is why it's going to fix itself. And then also, the situation is a lot more cloudy in my personal estimation. I still think he's talented. I like the guy, but I'm not going to completely write him off because,
listen, like, his start to the career is also a lot like we saw from DJ Moore. It's a lot like we saw from Terry McLaurin. And then we saw those guys go to different situations and then feast. The problem is by the time they end up in a different situation with a better quarterback or an offense that focuses on them and feeds them and you get in that fantasy production, it's like, motherfucker's 28. Like, nobody gives a shit anymore, right? And then when I come out like week 5 or 6 and I'm like, y'all need to go out and trade your first round pick for fucking Terry McLaurin right now, people are like, you're stupid, you're fucking crazy.
Mike's fucking drunk. Mike's more drunk than the Patriot fans.
Nobody gives a shit at that point. And that's the biggest fear that you always have with those kind of players. So
here goes Mike.
I mean, he's on that same fucking path already, and it's like, do you want to buy? Fuck, just get him when he's actually producing, because he's going to be cheap, and everybody will think you're fucking crazy for trading your first for Chris Olave when he's 28 and putting up 1,400 yard seasons, double-digit touchdowns. Nobody gives a fuck then.
Don't they?
Don't they?
Well, here's the other thing to think about with Olave, because I agree. On one side, I definitely get the point you're making and agree. The other thing I think we got to keep in mind, and this is overall a point that at some point here, probably when there's not as much hype or building up talking points around the 25 class, I think in general one of the fallacies in Dynasty that you can get caught up in is chasing production from the young players. And I'm not saying that certain players, like in this 24 class, obviously, they're hitting towards the highest we've ever seen is production. So maybe there's situations that are different than others. But like Chris Olave's production, it was good. Like he had a very good rookie season. But again, we're kind of looking at that and the production he had there as him being a rookie and him trying to improve, right? In the standards in which we're holding him now as we continue to go up the ranks for his age, right? We're not looking at him as we've never seen him really be a like positional advantage or even really close to that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the problem, is the development of the production is not meeting what at all we thought it was going to be. And we're still viewing him as this young player that's going to do it in the future, when I got news for y'all, man. The future's fucking now with Chris Olave. Like, we're going to start hitting, before you know it, the Chris Olave downswing as far as his age goes, right? It's going to happen.
His entire career so far to this point, 3 years in, has been mid to back end wide receiver 2.
It looks fucking damn near the same. And this last year was probably the worst one.
By far and away.
And that is on top of injuries and no quarterback situation. Come on, y'all. Help me. Help me help you.
He is like 1 year ahead, like 1 year in the past or future of what Jalen Waddle is. And now you're seeing the Jalen Waddle like, oh, maybe we don't really give a fuck. I think maybe we.
Dog, the Jalen Waddle experience.
Jalen Waddle experience.
The Jalen Waddle experience this last year. Like, I honestly, like, I didn't even victory lap it. Like, I felt bad. I genuinely felt bad for those people. Like, you can't talk about that shit. No, you just leave that. You don't talk about that. That's bad juju. Nobody could have expected him to be that terrible. And the situation that happened in Miami, and it's like, okay, Tyreek Hill's kind of still there. Tua's a one hit away from being Where is the future hope here? Doesn't feel like we have that type of a thing any longer.
Clock's ticking.
Damn it, Mike. Jalen Waddle, fuck, that's I'm wearing a Miami jersey. Thank God it's Waddle.
We got one more question.
Remember when Jalen Waddle was actually, fuck, dude, that was last offseason. He got paid one of the highest in the entire game at the receiver position. I think it was him and Jefferson, like right around the same time.
Just reminded me. I said, I looked at the clock. I was like, oh yeah, I woke up early today and went to work and worked 13 fucking hours. Make sure to change my alarm for tomorrow. I don't want to wake up early tomorrow. Fuck that shit. Like,
well, hold on. I've got something that I don't know. I feel at this point, I get it. You've had a long day. We're ready to kind of go home. We're home, but get off of the, recharge the batteries. But here's the thing. I'm selfish, all right? I'm not going to let you go home. I know, it was the soft mattress and all the things that, the midnight rape, all the things that took place for you, okay? But I need you. I need the big guy, all right?
Naked art show.
It could have been the soft mattress. We got a lot of things to worry about. We can forget about mom for a while, all right? Mike, but what we will never forget about, I just simply will not allow it. I want you this offseason. I can't do anything other than just think about it in this light. I need you to go out there and find somebody that will look at you the way in which people look at Joe Milton. If you can do that, you will not have to experience silence ever in your life, buddy. And you
Most
will find
of Patriots fans on the East Coast locked in on Patriots podcast.
I will say one of the best things about doing content, though, Mike, is you kind of, when you don't expect it, you find things out that you just didn't realize were in existence that are, out there. Maybe that's a little more of a, in the underworld, so to speak. You don't get to hear about it in the tabloids. There's a quarterback controversy in New England, man. Fuck. I didn't even know this. Jeez. Dude, that is honestly, like, I don't even know if ChatGPT knows that, man. That's crazy.
Let's ask ChatGPT.
What do you think? Just tell him, just ask, what do you think of the quarterback controversy in New England currently going into the 2025 season?
I do. Think of the QB controversy.
And are you on the side of the majority of the public or some of these East Coasters?
ChatGPT, help us. See what they say.
Hey, yo, Milton might be a good dude, though. That probably is true. I really have no idea. I'm just out here saying shit. See what ChatGPT has to say.
Dude, they gave me like a fucking massive paragraph.
I love this. There's traction. There's traction.
In summary, while the Patriots quarterback room boasts promising talent in May and Milton, the coaching staff aims to manage the situation carefully to avoid unnecessary controversy. The team's offseason decisions, particularly regarding Brissett's future and potential roster enhancements, will play a crucial role in determining the starting quarterback for the 2025 season. So ChatGPT helps none.
All right. Hold on. I think what we have to do is kind of help lead them to where we want them to go, okay? This is how I think we approach it. Let me pull up silences. I'm trying to find the name here. Just bear with me for 2 seconds. I promise we'll get you out of here. Okay. Do you think that the Locked On Patriots podcast is on to something here as far as Joe Milton goes? See if we can really kind of get them to talk about what we want them to.
I just asked Joe Milton or Drake May.
Dear God.
Tell me. If the Patriots want to play it safe, they'll probably roll with May as the starter in 2025.
Well, no, they don't want to play it safe. It's not fun to play it safe.
To develop. But if Milton keeps showing growth in training camp and preseason, he could push May for reps. It really depends on how the new coaching staff
I think that is a very real – he could push him for reps. Like they might give him a few off reps, you know.
I love it, man.
Maybe, you know what, though? I will say –
call it a preseason game.
Check this out, though. Maybe, just maybe, Mike, especially for New Englanders, right? How many people, when Drew Bledsoe was the starter, was like, Tom Brady, man, that he's going to be the – not just who wins us the Super Bowl, but is the greatest of all time. Maybe that's why some shit like that goes down, and all of a sudden you think, you know, you live in Fairy Tale Island. Like
Fairy Tale Island. I love it.
I'm going to remember this when Milton blows up and just laugh, just waiting. Hey, listen, Joe, though, for real, you know, when you get off of this silence thing, hit us up, man. We'd love to have you on the show sometime. We'd love to talk about the you know, situation you got going on in New England, maybe getting you in a new home so you can boast that strong arm you got, man. We'd love to have an opportunity to chap it up with you. Or you can keep coming in with your burner too. That's fine as well. Am I crazy for thinking Najee is the best buy low? I will say, Marcus, I wish I could give you this $1.99 back. And yes, honestly, I was we were having a ball. Like you and I feel like we were kind of vibing despite my bad take. I feel like somehow, yeah, I don't even know how to defend this one, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I wanted to get full clarity in startup drafts. Where's Najee going? Like, how are people valuing him? Adam, they value him just above Tony Pollard.
First of all, that's why?
11th round.
Why?
11th round startup pick. I'm good.
Why is he that high?
He is currently going before the rookie 205, 206, 207, 208. No.
Listen, I will say, can I say this?
That's not a buy low.
I just want, what I want you to do, everybody here, this is why sometimes Super Chats are the best thing, because they get a situation talked about. Like Stro, Chris Olave, right? We got another Super Chat. Regardless, point is, Najee, I think in a certain situation this offseason could have been a buy low. I think right now, the situation that he's going to be going in, like there's no world that exists where one, he has as this young running back anymore, and two, he's going to get anywhere near the work that he probably did in his past situation. Plus, like look at all the fucking touches he had and hasn't been good with it since his rookie season. There's just, I'm not saying I will stay away from him, but at these costs, I'm not even close.
Let's just start. Let's start here. Here. Running backs. 8th round running backs on. Okay. With this running back class coming up, like what we know about it, do you feel comfortable paying these prices?
We should have done Would You Rather. Najee Would You Rather would be a fucking lot of rather for me.
Tyrone Tracy, David Montgomery, Alvin Kamara, Travis Etienne, Isaiah Pacheco, Ramondre Stevenson, Zach Charbonnet, DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson, James Conner, J.K. Dobbins, Tony Pollard, Najee Harris, Trey Benson, Rashad White, Aaron Jones, Tajay Spears. You know what? All those
Trey Benson would be the only name maybe there I would even consider not taking.
Do you understand with all those names though that I listed?
No 25s.
In 2022, this looks like fucking steals. 2023, these look like steals. In 2024, they look like steals. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. There's an incredibly deep running back class coming up that we don't know officially how many of these guys are getting drafted to these situations and fucking up some of these dudes' jobs.
Sure.
Every single one that I listed off there, I go, yeah, I could see a fucking scenario where they lose their job or don't fucking have one. Or now they're playing second fiddle to some rookie that came in. Like, every one of those dudes is in danger of losing their job. So if you're telling me I got to start drafting these guys in the 8th round startup draft right now or pay 8th round prices, in an existing league to trade for one of these dudes, fucking pass. I'm good.
Koopa, just think about that and get ready for the warp ascension, buddy. It's coming.
Jesus Christ.
No, but
warp ascension.
With Najee, I just think, like, I don't know. I'm trying to. I guess here's what I'd like to ask or talk about. Like, what is the scenario, right? You think about the 25 class, especially right now. There's so much, I guess, unknown, and a lot of times in Dynasty, we're looking at the unknown and we're thinking about what can go right? Like, as far as the upside or like the what the picture perfect or picturesque thing for Najee Harris, like, what does that look like this offseason? And then, like, just paint me that picture for a second. Like, what does it look like if things go pretty well for Najee this offseason and what that looks like for him in next season?
Signs with the Raiders. They don't draft anybody. Just Najee. And
so it's like
Amir Abdullah.
It's like, so it's Zamir White's the better version of Zamir White, really, right?
Sincere McCormick off an injury and like 2 good
Dude,
games.
I'm not gonna lie, that actually, please, that sounds fucking awful. But I mean, it would be a lot of volume.
Pete Carroll.
I mean,
I get a quarterback.
Pete Carroll,
right? You want a perfect picture? There you go.
I guess Carroll, the thing is,
Chip Kelly is the offense coordinator.
For 2 years, definitely, I'd say more like 2 years, because 3 years ago he was coming off a really good season. So for the last 2 years, been a little more of a defender of Najee, and ultimately that's led to a lot of the Jaylen Warren truthers getting upset. But the truth is, like, they had first round draft capital attached to Najee, and the way they use him in that situation, it's like, all right, that's what we know what that picture looks like. But, like, how many other teams that didn't draft him in the first round going into a new situation? How many other teams are just going to ride Najee to the fucking ground? Like, give this guy 20 plus touches for a lot of inefficient volume. Like, I don't know. I know there was some situations for Najee over the last few years with Kenny Pickett where the teams weren't that good, but he's never shown like all that much as far as being a super efficient runner. And I just don't think there's a lot of situations out there where he goes in and commands like 15 touches a game even right now.
Yep. To answer that super chat question, no.
I will say though, to the one point for startups, right? When you're taking a look at startups, like if that's what his value is, no. Maybe in certain trade markets, like people are getting rid of Najee and a lot cheaper in the trade market. Like, Mike, would you pay a third for Najee in this class?
Mid-third right now.
Yeah,
why not?
I think that's the thing. Like, I don't think people are getting off of him for that. But if that was the type of trade, I think for me, you start, even if it was like an earliest third, I'd probably be starting to have some considerations. But guys in the second round and the players that you mentioned around there in startups, I'm good there. But maybe if the cost is a little bit lower in certain leagues, I'd be a lot more willing. Anyway, I know a lot of the depth spots are about to get taken with rookies, but won't teams find a bruiser who can? So yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing though. He probably will go to a team where he is penciled in as the early down grinder, so not a lot of pass catching upside like he had in the past, and then also probably doesn't get as much of that early down work. Where what if he's on a team that's not that great and he's going to get 12 touches a game? That's not that great, honestly.
You know what their big problem too is? Out of this rookie class with running backs coming in?
Well, yeah. Would you rather pay Najee or would you rather just go ahead and take a younger, maybe better version?
But even to the point about fucking grinders and bruisers and that kind of thing, a lot of big motherfuckers in this class. A lot.
Matter of fact, Mike has one at 19.
Yeah. There's a lot of big guys, man.
There is.
Like Rocket Sanders, 230. Martinez, 232.
That's the other thing. This class.
Quentin Jackson, 233. Ollie Gordon, 230.
The one thing about this class, too, you just talked about.
230.
Dude, so you're talking about Rocket Sanders, Donovan. The amount of players that were viewed as supremely talented that are just like almost cast-offs in this class is crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I mean, TreVeyon Henderson is not to that level, but kind of feels that way from where he was. There's a lot of players. Rocket Sanders is like way down the list for a lot of people right now. He has tons of burst.
I mean, fucking DJ Giddens is a 215-pound running back who's
people kind of view him as a little more of a, I don't want to say scat back, but like not as a grinder, and he's a bigger dude. Pause.
There's big dudes in this fucking class. A lot of them.
Listen, the running back class is legit. If you're a team that needs to add, some reinvigorate your running back room, this is the class to do. So I'm not going to call it 2017 because that's just insane, but I'm not going to say that it doesn't have maybe the best talent that we've seen since that class as far as overall depth. That's all we got, man. Mike said, listen, I won't be mad if you get me out of here at X time. I won't divulge that to the group, okay? We are well past that fucking time.
Well past
I mean, that is an eternity ago. So, Joe Milton, we love you. Silence, we love you. I'm glad that you broke the silence. Make sure you come back. Do not be a... Marcus, appreciate you tapping in with us even though we cost you a title. Glad to hear you won another one. We'll see you back here. Same time, same place for AMA. We're out of this thing. Peace.